is slowly taken away. I miss the way that we were in harmony. I'm having trouble letting go. I close my eyes and wish you were closer. Now we're like footprints in the snow, slowly fading until it's over. Our memories won't last forever. Now loving for eternity. So baby, let's get back together. I'll show you what you need, a symphony. It isn't strange that we are still feeling connected. So I propose that we embrace love, hope, and our affection. Nostalgia is crashing down, a bittersweet burning feeling. Cause when I start to look around, home isn't the same way you leave it. Our memories won't last forever. Now longing for eternity. So baby, let's get back together. I'll show you what you need, a symphony. Symphony.
Be quiet. I hear the thunder that comes from far away. It's like a noise in my head. Oh, these were hearts. These were hearts. It gets you deep and leaves a scar. Oh, these were hearts. These were hearts. It gets you deep and leaves a scar. 'Cause things fall apart and it frees your heart. It's no longer the same. 'Cause things fall apart and it frees your heart. It's no longer the same. We need to get up. We need to get up. We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. All we need to do is to get out of here. We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. All we need to do, we need to get out of here. Cause things fall apart.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smite Prime Time this Friday evening. I'm D'Lo, joined here by Blaze McBain. We got Cat, Almighty Eye in the Sky, Jithin's man behind the curtain and doing it all. Food Drive, For Globe versus the Employment LARPers. Blaze, how we feeling?
You know, it's been a Friday. I'm excited to watch some good old Smite 2 action here on the Smite Prime channel. and see how this tournament goes. Does Calbunda take it all? Or does one of these two teams maybe make it towards those finals and dethrone the Cowabunga Turtles? We'll find out more here soon, but there are the Employment LARPers and Food Drive for Globe. First ban is going to be the Finrare, which has honestly been my favorite pick in the jungle for the past several weeks.
And they take out my favorite pick of all time, Ymir. Employment LARPers. Come on, did you know I was casting? I'm going to have to talk to SK Peso about that one. And just noting what we have here as far as the meta before us, Nuwa still going to be banned for tonight, so we'll not be seeing any Clay Soldiers apart from if you look in a mirror. We know your ranked scores are that low, buddy. That being said, we got an interesting game ahead of us. Employment LARPers been making a splash so far in the Founder Series, had some good wins. Food Drive for Globe, though, also a team with your eyes on it. Odin is going to be that first lock-in for their side.
Yeah, and I like seeing the Odin here. I think Odin brings a nice, interesting thing to the comp, right? Because now you're like, okay, well, they have to take some leaps to get out of this, or they have to buy a shell. And that's just the first pick out of the out. That has to feel pretty good here. Overall, I think you still go this form of maybe look towards this Amaterasu, maybe look towards this Bologna. It looks like the first option is going to be Hecate. Hecate works really, really well with Odin. So the LARPers grabbing that for themselves is definitely going to be the move. And we're going to hope for some kind of hype ults here where we pull people back in or maybe teleport around. But we'll have to see how it goes.
Works well with Odin, also really works well against Odin in the sense that, yeah, you pull people in, you can also bail them out of that cage. Nice to have that open the gates to get that portal, of course, under a bit of a delay. So having to make sure that you got that 4 key hot and ready. Amaterasu, hot and ready, off the press, just got into the game, and now on your screens before you. Employment LARPers, take her away.
Yeah, you might be saying hot to go here in a little bit because Alma might run it down. I mean, I've gotten to play her one time, but I've seen a lot of Alma played since this patch dropped. She seems like she's in a pretty good spot overall.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Imp build has been good. Divine Presence did get a little bit of a hotfix nerf today, so maybe we see something a little bit different. But I still think Alma has the potential to flex around. I've seen her in support in solo most often. I expect her to see her in one of those roles, but Soul going to be the pickup here for the Food Drive for Globe. Honestly, Soul, in my opinion, is probably the best ADC. You can make a very good argument for Jingwei, but just what Soul brings to the table has been really, really good in ranked and what I've seen in comp.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see that picked up next for Food Drive, but instead it's going to be the Ares. They say, you take away our Hecate, we're going to find some other way to pull you back inside the cage and get this zoo business on going. I appreciate that. It's solid. That being said, Amaterasu, of course, with that dazzling offensive CC immune. And now Employment LARPers, have some leeway. They recognize the assignment, and if they lock in this Jingwei here, I think it answers both the Odin and the Ares quite well.
Yeah, I think Jingwei is a good pick. You can get out of the cage really easily. This Bacchus, that's the other one I was going to talk about. Bacchus is a really good pick for your support option.
Yes.
I mean, you can jump in, you get some good CC. You also have the Intoxicate overall providing a good amount of CC for your team, and it deals with this AOE potential that you have with the Odin Ares, and even a little bit on the Soul side. So now it comes down to, do LARPers go for something that's very single target heavy here? I mean, I've seen some Kernanos picked up with this Odin Ares comp. It's something to watch out for. I'm more curious about how they plan on dealing with the Cuckoo. I'd like to see them go ahead and grab their assassin here, maybe float towards, well, they're going to lock the Jingwei. I'm wondering if
She
we're going to get
floats.
Loki or Thanatos for the LARPers here in a few minutes.
Very well could be a good answer for them, just to pick off any stragglers who try to escape that cage and limp away on low health. Not a bad idea for you. What would be a good idea for employment LARPers, though? Talisman of Purification, baby. That is going to be
Yeah.
so pivotal. If you got that Bacchus, you are begging them to build those shiny jewelry beads up very quickly. Sir Nunos is going to be the call here for Food Drive for Globe. Circles within circles. You can't be mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Cuckoo next. It has to be. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's not Cuckoo Jungle. Sorry, my bad. I was just like getting ahead of myself there a little bit. But I mean, you could run Kernanos Jungle. I've seen it. Overall,
Why
though,
not?
it probably should be. I look at this, and a lot of the times with these Kernanos Odin Ares type comps, we see someone like a Loki float in. He does have that AOE ability, but then he can just kind of delete you with single target damage. So see how that floats here a little bit. Overall, I think they need something that can just get rid of somebody. So it may be a Thanatos, but it's going to be the
Ooh.
Mordred. I like this as well. Mordred does bring a lot to the Keem comp, especially with the big ultimate.
If you can get that Pursue of the Week. That being said, you got to make sure to utilize it very carefully. It's a bit easier if they're trapped in a cage, but that turn radius is a bit lacking. Tokyo Drift, you cannot. So we're just maybe got to make sure to utilize that terrain, those walls, to pop out and jump scare a couple people instead of trying a full frontal approach. Employment LARPers, they have one spot remaining here. Got to imagine it's waiting for. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. That jungle. Who are we looking for to fill their role?
Well, someone that is a pro at dodging buses, that would be the Mordred here. So I'm still thinking both these teams I think looked really good with a Loki here. I think you look towards Loki or Thanatos. Uh, the options are a little bit limited though. I mean, you don't want to have to live in that Odin cage for very long. You also want to be able to have the CC immunity to get out of the Ares. So that's kind of the problem. But Thanatos is comp banned, so not going to be the Thanatos. Probably going to be. It has to be the Loki, right? It just has to be.
It's a good answer. You know, we talked about it before. It's always nice to visit your dad in the retirement home, right? So Loki can
Yeah.
stop by the old place. And hey,
There it
there you go.
is.
Look at that, Blaze. You predicted it so well. Loki being a good son-in-law, son-in-law, I guess adopted son, making sure to stop by, visit old pops, make sure they're not stealing his phone charges and all that. And the All Father is going to have some good company today.
Yeah, I like this Loki pick. I think it's going to feel really good. He can ult out if he needs to. He can ult
Yes.
defensively. Not what you want to do, but like good. You know, you don't want to deal with an Odin cage. I'm going to see myself out. I don't want to deal with the Ares ult. I'm going to see myself out of that too. But it's going to come down to how he prioritizes the lanes in his ganks. Because if you look over at Food Drive for Globe, this comp is made to fight together. Employment LARPers have a little bit of an idea where they pick here and there. Jingwei doing massive amount of crit damage, Loki able to go in and delete somebody when they need to. Two different play styles. We'll have to see which one of these does come up on top here soon.
And we don't have to wait too much longer for it. Food Drive for Globe, Employment LARPers. Game 1 coming at you right now. Bada bing. We're here. Welcome, everyone. Smite Prime, beginning of the night. It's week 3 of the tourney. And so far, it's all been going the same way. Will Cowabunga take it? Let's see. Either one of these two teams could be up to challenge it. I'm D'Lo, once again joined here by Blaze McBain, joined here by Cat Almighty in the Sky, joined by Jithins, joined here by you at home. Early game dynamics. Blaze, walk me through them.
You know, I thought Sunder got nerfed, but I'm looking at the Sunder pickups,
sure about
and
that?
I'm not so sure anymore. Maybe it didn't. But what's actually really interesting here is the fact that LARPers have no fear of the Odin cage whatsoever and go for a single shell, and it's on Brindar for the Jingwei. Like, I think that's really, really interesting here. Other than that, I mean, I'm happy to see beads. I'm happy to see. It's interesting seeing shells on the other side. I actually have a large value of shell over Aegis, so we'll see how this plays out.
I like how Food Drive for Globe quite literally have brought more. Maybe they're just trying to buy them all off the shelves so employment LARPers couldn't get them. It's like Black Friday sales, bro. You just got to come snag them while they're on the shelves. Liquidation sales not going to work out too well for you. Neither will this invade for my friend. It's going to be a bit rough as Karmic doing some decent damage already, forcing them beneath that tower. Food Drive for Globe trying to just make sure to get as much damage as possible. Dissuade anyone from trying to take what they consider rightfully theirs. And like you said, man, we thought that maybe the invade meta is over. It is certainly alive and thriving. So has happened, just juking all these basics.
Yeah, I like the invade meta. We talked about this last week, and I still think the same thing now. Invade meta just is interesting. It changes up the starts. It's not always my support and duo lane members start here, or duo starts here, jungle starts here. There's so much variety in the start of Smite 2. It's really refreshing after seeing the same thing over and over again in Smite 1.
That damage certainly going to wake you up. Not very refreshing there for my friend in the Ares, but does walk away with that buff steal. So we'll take it. No complaints there in that sense. Well, actually, I don't think it was a steal. Yeah, they're just warding off the invading forces. So we will take that as well. That being said here, it's about the Loki. We've got our eyes on it. Camera's got their eyes on it. Which lane do you want to see them focus that attention through?
Man, if I'm Codester, I almost think Soul's problematic early on. Soul's problematic at all levels of the game. I think if you can get her a little bit behind, that's going to feel really good. But I'm looking towards this Jingwei and keeping her as far behind as possible for the longest amount of time possible. You want to make sure the crit doesn't get online, because when she starts flying in, bombarding around, and then, you know, hitting you with the twos, you're going to be like, oh man, this crit feels great. Oh no, sorry, I'm on the gray screen. So I do think you have to put some focus there. We'll have to see if that's what Codester ends up going for, or decides, hey, my pressure is dealt elsewhere.
I mean, certainly already have the pressure afforded to you through those chains. If you get one wrapped around the Bacchus, next one on the Jingwei, they have very few means of escape, especially considering the fact that Brendar has no beads. You're going to have to forcibly rely on that ultimate instead. So we're looking for Happen to make sure to land those shackles shortly.
And it's even more interesting about this idea of going the shell here, because Odin is not in your lane. So, like, you're specifically taking that
True.
for the team fight. It's just a really interesting play here. Meanwhile, Valo is lurking around saying, you know, I'm the Mordred. Let's make something happen.
Doesn't have the ultimate online. Can't quite pursue the leak just yet, but can pursue a chained up Bacchus. Nice little severing strike. It's not just enough damage, and there's the Floppus to escape. Beautiful work. Escaping on a sliver. Hey, we'll take it. Dude's gonna still make it home.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Food Drive here, you're excited about a TKO. You're happy about that. But this man did not back, by the way. He did not finish his back. So might be a First Blood incoming over there in duo if they decide to stick around. They don't. But that's still such a big gank. It gets leaves so much pressure for your duo where you're like, okay, we can step up and continue to do that. Because if you look at the levels, there's a disparity there. Bacchus is still level 3. Ares is already been level 3, should be ticking over to 4 sooner rather than later. Curious to see how this plays out between the supports, because overall I do like both of them, and with the buffs to physical defense specifically, this is going to be a really interesting matchup as the game goes on.
I'm looking to see if Food Drive for Globe decides, given the fact that they have that EXP advantage, do we just immediately hit our 4 keys, try to bait out an airstrike, and then follow it up with a Wild Hunt when they're caught vulnerable? Could be the way to try to put this Jingwei down as you've so advised. Another good way to do so? Some nice little invades. Valo trying to get this farm going, and certainly doing so, just taking everything they can in their shopping cart. Happen trying to get that same thing going. Unfortunately, might not be obliged. Has to force into that shell just for a bit more health. Able to retreat. And now Soul showing why that relic might just be the way to go. Gonna keep their support alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's keeping you alive. It's keeping your fellow teammates alive. You can't really go wrong with the shell. In the grand scheme of things, it's going to feel good. My curious question of the day is, can Valo get all the buffs around them? Is that a possibility in this game? Can we see all the buffs just going around Valo at some point? Because the invade and the farm for the Mordred has been excellent thus far, and was really saying, hey, I'm going to put a ring on it and getting all the colors ring, trying to become Thanos to some extent.
This is like a little fashion runway. The glitz and the glamour is what it's all about. We're not here for kills or damage or stats. We're here for aesthetics, baby. And Food Drive for Globe are bringing that heat. About 5 minutes into this game. It's a bit of a slow start. No kills on the board, but still some good technical play being shown here. Might be seeing that First Blood drop in just a second. Could be rough here for the Bacchus. Has no beads. Has no shell to help him out. Not going to be enough damage still quite just yet. The last Soul basic. Just going to clank up against empty air. How is this Bacchus still alive, man?
Because there was no Soul ultimate just dropped on top of where the Bacchus was being pulled. And I think part of that is the displacement immunity that Bacchus has. Maybe you're afraid that he's going to use it and get out. But this leads to a Gold Fury pull. But look who's hiding around the corner. It's Codester.
Oh no, this might be a bit overzealous here from Food Drive for Globe. You're a non-profit, guys. Don't start getting greedy. This should not be a money laundering scheme. Food Drive for Globe recognized that and returned back to their grassroots.
Not only that, I don't know that they know Vala ulted there, but if they're aware, this opens up a Gold Fury pool for the employment LARPers this time around, and they are going to do it. But look at this, there's a rotation coming in.
Nuno's walking on the backside. Happen manages to take it away. The airstrike has no secure, only gets a bird's eye view of that steal. Gosh, did it look pretty. Chains going to be followed up as well, but we're not looking for aggression here. Food Drive got what they came for, and they retreat back to the jungle.
You know, I love a good Gold Fury steal, D'Lo. It's what I love to do, is steal objectives. But, you know, with the happen chance that an Ares walks up and sunders it away from you, has to be super frustrating after you just pushed them off. You think, okay, this is our chance. And he just walks up and says, yeah, that's mine, and then walks away.
And it's just going to continue to cement that gold lead that they have. Now about 3,000 to their name. Pretty solid, especially given the fact that there's no kills, and that can partially be credited to the fact that you have that Gold Fury steal, but also Val have just been kind of a nuisance in their backline. This might be a nuisance as well, forcing that open the gates from the Kate, that no escape, just putting that pressure on, reminding you, hey, I'm still here.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought Bacon was gonna have one of the sickest ults that we might see, where you're getting pulled by Ares for no escape, and it's the Ares that isn't escaping, gets pulled back into the tower. I was waiting for that moment, because that would have been first blood, I'm pretty sure, in the favor of Bacon on this Akate.
Just haven't gonna quite see it yet, and this mid lane's been relatively quiet. It's an interesting one here. You have the Cernunos, who of course has that ADC potential, but in this case, opting for the mid. What is that matchup difference then in this case, where you have someone who normally might opt to be that AD carry? Oh, might opt to be dead in a second. Being closed around by 3 members. Loki going aggressive here. That Horn Dash gives a bit more space, but Bacchus comes in over the side. That shell proving useful once again, but will it be enough? The final belch to sing the last note of Globe's life. Bacon takes down the sheep. That's going to be first blood going the way of Chaos.
Ba, ba, ba. I mean, sometimes that's the way that goes. You think you're going to get the wild hunt going, and it's going to go your way, but it doesn't. The boars saved you for a time, and eventually you take the spill. And this is the thing about running that ADC-esque type of play in the mid lane is it's great when you can play around your team. It's great in a 1v1 situation. But I think unless you have some type of peel in front of you, and if people start rotating in, if you're out of place, you're pretty much going to pay the price. There's really not a way out. And you have to figure out where your positioning is for the team fight. Hecate, she's going to change up the position herself with her ultimate. So Cernunos a little bit of a disadvantage here.
Right here, Food Drive for Globe. They're surrounded once again. That ultimate to pursue the weak, going to instantly be evaded afterwards by that airstrike. Finds some decent damage in the lair corridor. Tagbeer could be the first to go down. Coaster takes that kill. Valo follows it up with some nice revenge. And now it seems that both sides just satisfied with their earnings. Neither one wants to leave more corpses on the battlefield. Amaterasu, though, has made the sneaky rotation, which goads employment LARPers to maybe enter once again. No, happened, called that one out, and wisely decides to retreat, adorned with that nice Naga buff.
Can we talk about Brindar just like not being afraid? Goes into bombardment, bombards over, comes back and goes, yeah, I'm just going to dive right into the fight as Jing Wei just goes right in the middle of it, which is not something you see too many ADCs do. Usually they like to reposition, kind of get behind a tank, maybe find someone else to be in front of them. Brindar says, no, I'm going to be here. You're going to deal with me and my crit. And if you want to stay here, well, you're probably going to pay the price in dividends. Luckily, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but still, Food Drive for Globe are looking pretty good right now. They're like 5,000-ish, around 4,700 gold ahead. That's feeling pretty good considering, you know, 1 kill in your favor.
Yeah, the fact that they really just leave it at the farm, and at the end of the day, that's the number that really counts. Kills feel good, viscerally. You feel like you're doing stuff, but then you get the sobering reminder that actually we are in debt. And then the bank comes for your house, and then you are toast. They need to find some way back in it. It might just be what you said earlier. This Jing Wei, but she's just been too elusive or just too gosh darn gutsy to die.
Yeah, I mean, I think these invades are going really, really well for Food Drive right now. They have the 3 Sunders. They're able to confirm objectives, so you have to be really, really careful if you're the LARPers here and go, okay, where are they? Do we know if they have Sunder up? Can we confirm Gold Fury, Pyro, Fire as the game goes on? Because if we can't confirm it, then maybe we shouldn't be pulling it. We need to get a pick beforehand. And the LARPers, they know what they need to do. They have it written. The playbook is there. It's just slowly but surely making their way there.
And slowly but surely is one aspect we also talked about, that Odin. We'll have to return to that in just a second. Gold Fury, second one off the mark. Food Drive for Globe. Once again, start things off. Can they finish them? It seems that they can. Valo grabs that one. Naga buff, of course, paying its dues as well. Second Fury there goes the way of order.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to be careful. These Sunders, once you're level 10, they hit for 1,000 damage at level 10. So as soon as Gold Fury, Fire, Pyro is pulled, if you're like, man, we want to confirm that, you can just drop all 3 Sunders and there's nothing that can happen. Yeah, the LARPers have 2 of their own, but you have to work your way in that position, and maybe it's better off letting them waste their sunders so you have yours in pocket and you can go to the next objective. Overall, though, the LARPers are having this kind of slow start. They're not out of it, but I mean, 6,000 gold down doesn't feel good with the itemization difference between them and Food Drive at this point.
Yeah, man. I mean, we can't even really talk about what build Minxtinct is going to be going with this Ama. Intelligence, strength, all she's got so far really is that protection going forward. Just trying to protect yourself from this Odin potentially. Might be coming right for you in a second. Blocks that dash, not too shabby. Odin's going to be an interesting point for us because, like you said, he's not going to be rotating for quite some time. How do we expect these team fights to change in pace and momentum as we see Karmic actually showing us a little bit of his own combat skills, taking down Minxtinct with a nice solo?
Well, Valo just showed off the turning of what it's like to drive a bus around. Sadly, was not able to connect with that ultimate, but here we see a pull in by the Ares. Might be something more.
Trying to find this Bacchus. Getting some decent aim with the Severing Strike. In fact, might be taking his last sip from their flask. Globe finds that kill. Revenge for their death early at the first blood. That makes it Food Drive for Globe's edge as well on the kill board as well as the gold. Now Employment LARPers, they don't got anything going for them. They don't have gold, nor kills, nor a job, and they might not have a tier 1 in just a second. Hecate as well could be in trouble underneath those chains. Soon to come the flames. Globe turns bacon into bacon once again. Didn't even need the Wild Hunt for that. They were already fried up, ready to be put on the plate. Going right back to this tier 1 tower. Food Drive for Globe. Just applying pressure wherever they can.
Yeah, I mean, Food Drive are kind of just pushing a lead here, starting to snowball, and you're getting to see what this lead has done for them. Again, they have 4 kills. This isn't like a situation where they've ran it down and they've really forced fights. This is being PvE-oriented, pushing these enemies out and saying, okay, we're going to TKO you. We're not worried about getting the kill. We just want to be able to invade your farm. We want to go take it and make you pay the price because eventually you have to step up and defend. So far, they haven't had to defend too much on the side of the LARPers. It's only been 2 tier 1s gone, but sooner or later, Karmic Justice is going to come in the form of this Odin to a team fight, and it might be problematic.
I would certainly agree. We're having to expend already our shell, the one shell we have, just for defense alone, and then comes the utility aspect of it as well. And if Jinwei's already in the sky, man, she's not worrying about the peasants on the ground. Pyromancer might be their answer back. Employment LARPers try to take it away with the quickness, and Chaos will indeed grab it. They might unfortunately grab some corpses on their side off the back end. Valo does fall, though, to Coaster. It's a good start for you. Bach is still getting away on a sliver. Just like in the early days, they keep that energy going. SK Peso barely escaping.
You know what's really satisfying about that fight? So satisfying about that fight is it looks like it's gonna go bad, and then Bacon hits a insane ultimate to pull everybody in, and then you hear the squeal of the pigs in the background because Globes goes, "Oh, I got an ult to get us out," and Bacon goes, "No, no, no, no one leaves here," and that pull in just feels so good. It also shows off the tech of when an Odin cage gets dropped. You can still get your team out. You can just Hecate them over and say, hey, everybody's out of here. We're going to bring the enemies over here too. Just drop everything on top of them. Bacon, frying up some of their own sausage this time around.
Tasty. Valo's a decent target to get. Obviously wasn't necessarily going high in the kills, but really no member of Food Drive for Globe is a big target just based on their slash line. It's more so based on what they're contributing, and Valo's getting a lot of farm. Now, unfortunately, Coaster might be receiving that exact same experience. Your own decoy is the only thing left to remind anyone of your presence on the battlefield. Valo gets revenge, and now it might be this third Fury up for the mark. Globe taking down the Bacon once again, killing spree there, and the Fury goes down for Food Drive for Globe. They really are running donations at this point. Look at that gold lead, man. It is just skyrocketed.
Yeah, I mean, this is just an exponential growth chart if you're able to pull up gold charts right now. I mean, it's just a swing, steady, increasing. You love to see it. And, I feel like Globe's over here just playing this little piggy, went to the market and whatever else against Bacon right now. It has been pretty one-sided, which I do think is a bit surprising here when you have a Kernanos versus Hecate, because you kind of expect it to be a little bit more even, but now the game's going on. You look towards this Kernanos build, this intelligence build's going kind of hard. So I'm excited to see I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
So Loki's going to go right back to the fountain, buddy. Get some more health for it. Happy to use that ultimate right afterwards. The Loki was a point of interest for us at the desk, Blaine, and it hasn't quite gone the way we expected. What do we think that's owed to? Coaster is still performing well. 2 of the 3 kills, but it just hasn't had the momentum we need.
I think he's had a hard time getting to actually select a target that's low health and go in and delete them. Valo has done a fantastic job of invading jungle, making sure there's no farm. So Coaster has to go to a lane to try to get XP. It is just hindering this Loki. But also, I mean, I do think Loki takes a little bit of time to get online. Yeah, he can be annoying level 1 through 10. But the way you get gold in Smite 2 right now, it's almost like it takes a little bit more time to get to that mid-late game. And Loki, I think, really starts coming online around, the time we're at now. But I'm looking at the items, and he doesn't have anything that says, hey, I'm going to delete you from the game.
Yeah. I should hop into the source code then instead as a solution. Just, remove their character, remove their internet, cut their router. That'd be the solution. Deleting this left side tier 1 at the very least. We can start 4 Food Drive for Globe to really get the map state to reflect the gold state as well. Tier 2 in the mid, under pressure as well, slowly winding the noose around Employment Larpers. Sooner or later, we're going to have to see that 5v5 fabled fight. What's going to be Chaos's way to make sure they win it?
Well, I like the position of Coaster here, standing out in the back saying, hey, if someone gets low, that's my chance to go in. But this split right now by Food Drive, oh, that was so good. That for Food Drive is just really well done. They're pushing 2 lanes, and they're not getting contested really at either of them. Finally, in mid lane, it looks like they're getting contested a little bit, but they die for it.
SK Peso, the first one to go down, just keeping that aggression ongoing as that left side bird is burned away. You might get one for your side. Globe taking off the world. Coaster gets that kill. Big shutdown, but what's it going to cost you? It might be Amaterasu underneath those chains. Can't glorious charge way out of this one, buddy. There's no escape. Techbeer takes down Mink Stinkus, and Brendar will fall right afterwards. No shell will save you from this cage. The bird has been taken out. It's only Coaster, but I don't know if they've got any help alongside Hecate, who gets that nice kill there onto Valo. You got a spawn there as well. SK Peso's back for more. They're bringing the drinks. It's BYOB. It's bring your own defense, too. Finding some decent damage there on the invading forces. Food Drive trying to rally as Coaster's trying to weave through the back to take down Tegbeer. Not going to succeed, but distracts their attentions for a bit more time. Maybe not enough, though. Tegbeer with the basics, the hot in hands, takes down the Loki. Big leap onto Karmic. Not going to be enough, though. The Titans still under pressure, whittling it down little by little. They're just trying to get as much damage off on these assaulting forces. It's not going to be enough. Food Drive for Globe runs that bus right to home.
Yeah, Tegver just looked at Coaster and said, you don't want that smoke. And just autoed him down as the soul. Unfortunate for the Employment Larpers, but it was a good showing. I mean, honestly, the gold lead is massive. But if you look at the kill differential here, this was just perfect execution by Food Drive. They went through and they got the farm that they needed. They invaded constantly, keeping the pressure on the Employment Larpers. And, maybe it's time to go apply for some new jobs on the way out of here.
Yeah, they just weren't. Those unemployment checks just weren't hitting, bro. That money was not flowing, unfortunately. We just needed to see that gold happen earlier. And it's not for fault of them. It's for a really technical play from Food Drive. Those invades from Valo, wiping away the entire jungle before they could even sneeze at it. Those invades from Happen, once they already warded off the attempted invades from Employment Larpers, just seemed like from minute 1 till minute done, Food Drive knew how to drive the map. They drove the bus well, and you know what? You just got to respect it.
100%. And I'm curious to see, are Food Drive able to do this consistently to other teams? Or is this just, it worked this time because of the draft? Or next time, do they have to do something a bit different? I want to see their adjustments going forward, and we'll get to see that through the upcoming rounds.
Yes, indeed. But before we get to them, we're going to hop to a quick little break, so don't you dare go anywhere. More Smite Prime Time action coming at you in just a bit.
All the barricades, I wanna know why they hold me back. Need a miracle to break me through, but I won't get that. If I was a real wonder, then I could save me from turning around. Lift me off the ground, and one day I'm free.
We grew apart, I made a mistake, but I'll try to make it up to you, my darling. Ooh.
I wanna be a real one day. Heaven lifts me up from under. Wishing I could be somehow stronger now,
So I can fight away all the pain inside me. Never be afraid of the fate that finds me.
wish that I could be
Stronger,
so I can be a real one day.
so I can fight away all the pain inside me. Never be afraid of the fate that finds me.
Wish that I could be
Stronger,
so I can be a real one day.
hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. On we'll go, finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest, echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Nothing in the world could ever be good again. I've been nothing but a girl who really should be nothing less. Don't mess up, and don't you tell us so how you actually feel. If you do, then they'll cut you right at the heel, and it hurts. No one can save you Cause you're gonna get burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned. Burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned. Cause you're gonna get burned. They say you should never roll all the dice without a hand. It's make or break when you never did stand a chance. Tell me, side, don't you tell us so how you actually feel. If you do, then they'll cut you right at the heel, and it hurts. No one can save you. It's all on your mind to change too. And baby, you can really try if you climb your way up. Do it on your own when you're shit out of luck. Nobody will help if you find too close to the sun. Cause you're gonna get burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned. Burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned.
dried out tears of sorrow, lacking all emotion, staring down the barrel, waiting for the final gates to open to a new tomorrow, moving with the motion, following the light that sets me
The night is young, our memories echo inside me. As time is slowly ticking away, I miss the way that we were in harmony. I'm having trouble letting go. I close my eyes and wish you were closer. Now we're like footprints in the snow, slowly fading until it's over. Our memories won't last forever. Now love you for eternity. So baby, let's get back together. I'll show you what you need, a symphony. Propose that we embrace love, hope, and our affection. Nostalgia is crashing down, a bittersweet burning feeling. 'Cause when I start to look around, home isn't the same way you're leaving. Our memories won't last forever. I'll love you for eternity. So baby, let's get back together. I'll show you what you need, a symphony.
be quiet. I hear the thunder that comes from far away. It's like a noise in my head. Oh, this world heart, this world heart, it gets you deep and leaves the sky. Oh, this world heart, it gets you deep and leaves the sky. Curtains fall apart and it frees your heart. It's no longer the same. Curtains fall apart and it frees your heart. It's no longer the same. We need to get up. We need to get up. We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. All we need to do is to get
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Smite Prime Time to grace your Friday evening, where Friday evening we don't go out and we came, obviously. I'm D'Lo, joined here by Blaze, McBain, Cats are almighty eye in the sky, Jithin's the man behind the curtain. We got Cowabunga versus Honda Foria in round 2. Blaze, how we feeling?
Wait, we're gaming? I thought we were just watching people game, D'Lo.
Ah, shoot, good point. All right, I forgot myself here. They're gaming at the very least, and currently they're banning Odin, to be specific.
This is true. Odin, we saw it was very valuable last game. Honestly,
True.
just shutting down a whole entire area saying you will not leave here or you shall buy a relic to pass. So it's one of those things to watch out for. Again, Fenrir going to be one of the gods that is banned away here. And honestly, back to my point from earlier, Doggo goes Burr. So I think not too surprised to see him banned here. But we have turtles and we have a Honda vehicle, D'Lo. With before we get to the comps, do you think turtles or Honda vehicles trump one another?
Well, I don't know. Think about it. When you see a turtle in the street, how well does it stand up to against a Honda?
Probably pretty good.
All right,
They have a
maybe
shell.
better.
They have a shell.
They do have a shell, but do they have the relic, the shell? Now that's the
Ah.
question. That's the real difference there. They don't have a phantom shell. They just have a regular one, and that's why they get splattered. So hopefully Cowabunga doesn't get turned into roadkill this time around, and if past is any indication, they certainly won't. Amaterasu is their first lock.
Yeah, and this Amaterasu pick I think is going to be really interesting to see where it goes because I don't know that it has to go solo. I think there is an option of sending it to support. Obviously, it can maybe go into jungle, but we're not going to go there right now. I'm really curious to see where does Cowabunga value this god because they have been showing the way so far for comp. And
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they think. On the other side, though, we have Jingwei, we have Hecate. We have the god that likes to, dash through the sky, and the god likes to dash people towards them through a teleport. So those two things go pretty well together, and they don't have to worry about an Odin this time around. So I think that feels pretty good if you're Honda.
And also feels good to take these picks, not only for your team, but away from Paul, who
Yeah.
has really favored both quite a bit. Soul is going to be the counter. Gotta imagine it's going to be sporting in that dual lane. It's heating up, it's doing damage. Those in-hands can be awfully scary. Susano is going to be locked in for the jungle.
Do you think there's really a god that Paul feels uncomfortable on, though? I mean, really and
No.
truly, there's no way. He's the GOAT. Sasano picked up here. We have seen what Panatom can do with this god. And if it's going to the jungle, Honda needs to be worried that they might get some flat tires early on to this matchup.
We've seen what it can do. Steal kills from solo ritual. So hopefully going to be keeping that slash line good there. But you're absolutely correct. Momentum can be so pivotal. We saw it in round 1 with how Valo ran that jungle. Sasano with that mobility just inherent in the kit. Sunder still clearly being potent if you decide to opt with that way of going for the relic path. You could just easily sweep through the jungle, deforest the entire Amazon, and get all those buffs to your side.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, do Calabunga value that Sunder as much as we saw for food earlier? Because honestly, I didn't expect us to see 3 Sunders on one team. I kind of figure like 2 is kind of the maximum that you're going to see. But maybe they changed the course here. Maybe Sunder nerf wasn't enough. Once you hit level 10, that 1,000 damage is really significant on these objectives. But on the other side, meanwhile, we have Bacchus, the man, the myth, the legend, who is going to drink his way to stunning you, hopping on you, and intoxicating you. And I like that pick here for Honda. I think it flows pretty well into the comp that Cowabunga currently has. I'm curious to see what they decide to pair it with in the jungle and the solo lane. But maybe we get your Mir here.
Would certainly love to see it. It could be a good solution there. Of course, Jingwei has that agility, cannot go through walls though. That's only reserved for the soul. So without having that Odin, maybe some other player-made obstacles through that Ymir could be the way to go. Not having to worry about that just quite yet though. Loki is going to be the lock-in here for Honda. You talked about it before, Blaze. This can be a very pivotal pick if it's piloted correctly.
Yeah, I mean, Loki can do a lot. He can be really annoying. He can delete people. And sometimes he can do neither of those things. And it
Yep.
goes, not in his favor. I want to believe we're going to see a little bit of a different start here than what we saw earlier. I think Honda has a little bit of a better team comp to facilitate the Loki right now. We'll have to see how that plans out here. Looks like a Neef is going to be picked up for Cowabunga. I imagine this is going to Paul in the mid lane, and he's going to play sniper fire from the mid lane, taking people down. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't. But I think this is a good pick into the Loki Bacchus. You can backflip away. You can backflip over walls and go, you're going to have to chase me a little bit further. Maybe you have to blink. Maybe you have to use an ultimate to get to me, leap, whatever that may be. I like the Neath pick. Followed up by an Ares, which I think kind of answers our question, where is the Amma going? Seems like Alma's going to be going solo this time around.
Just keeping that relatively consistent here. And you know what it also tells us? This is a really evasive, annoying bait and punish comp that Cowabunga are playing, incredibly slippery as any aquatic turtle might just be. Shock is the answer, and you know what? That's not a bad one either. If Cowabunga try to get off those cooldowns to escape, a good silence might put them in their place.
Yeah, he's going to be moving like a jaguar. All right. He wants to silence them, he wants to put them down. And honestly, I like the chalk pickup here. You have to be a little bit careful into the Amaterasu, but you're going to be hitting people with an axe. You have that healing just like Amaterasu has. I think this is a good matchup overall in the soul lane. We'll have to see how it plays out between these two. But overall, looking at these two comps, we have Cowabunga, we have Honda. And obviously, Cowabunga has been just winning, winning, winning no matter what. And I expect that might be what we see here, but I'm hoping Honda puts up a good fight.
And you know what? Honda's got a similar comp as what we saw in round one. I think the one flavor change being that extra bit of shock spice. Do you
Yeah.
think, because we talked about before how when we saw this comp prior, it's a lot of single target damage, does the shock allow you a better chance for these team fights coming up?
I think it does a little bit. I mean, you have the AoE from that and the Hecate, and I think those two together is enough AoE. Obviously, Bacchus has his little bit of AoE here and there. I don't want to discredit the support in that count, but I'm looking at these two for that AoE damage, and I think they both do a really good job of it. It's just, can you sustain the fight against Cowabunga? That's what it's going to come down to. Because it's like you said, this comp is kind of like run it down. We're going to move. We're going to kind of bait you. Maybe it's a bait and switch. Maybe we're just not. Maybe we're just going to run at you and say, hey, play ball. So I'm really curious to see how Honda, decides to take the path to their victory if they can get one. But overall, I like both comps in this case. I think they're both pretty solid.
I'm quite a big fan as well. Big fan of the teams too. Gonna have to find out how they resolve it on the field of battle as we get into game right here. And Blaine, early game dynamics. I'm gonna ask you the exact same question once again. Cowabunga versus Honda. Who do we think takes it these first 5 minutes on paper?
Well, the good news is we don't have nearly as many Sunders this time around. We have a
Aha!
nice variety of relics this time. We love to see, a little bit of Blinks in there and Aegis here and there. But we have seen Cowabunga be pretty dominant here within the first 4 to 5 minutes. But I like the grouping we're seeing out of Honda right now. Group is 5, make them step up to you. Hide around a wall. Now, that looks like it's not going to be the case because, Cowabunga goes, we're going to ward you and know you're all there. But I like the idea of walking up as 5 and saying, okay, if you're going to invade, you're going to fight all of us, not just, 2 or 3.
Amaterasu got her feels playlist on all by myself. That's a-okay, because Honda aren't really forcing the issue. More so maybe just anticipating Cowabunga to try to put that invade themselves. We've certainly seen them do it, and any team who's stepping up against these turtles has certainly got to recognize that they've got game. So they're respecting it, which is good. I respect that. Doesn't seem like there's going to be too many invade shenanigans just yet, unless Aurora's got something to say about it.
I mean, if I had to guess, Aurora does have something to say about it. Sunder is up. I expect that we're going for the yellow over there, but right now it's a little bit of a fight between the supports, which we always love to see. Have to see how that pans out in a bit. But you always have to remember, when Alma's by herself, speaking to your, bit earlier, is she truly by herself? She has a mirror. She can talk to herself. Maybe that's what she's doing over there.
Very vain, though. You don't want to be talking to yourself. It's bad company. Always important to have your friends with you. There's no I in team. And doesn't seem like there's any invade either for this Ares quite just yet. Just satisfied with some nice damage here. We'll say the dual lane remains consistent and the support facing off against them as well. So how do we beat this Ares? It's a very big thorn in the side of two gods who want to use that leap as engage and disengage.
Honestly, I love the fact that they last picked Ares, because it baits people into picking things that have leaps, and you're like, yeah, you're just not going to get to do that. Oh, you like movement ability? Sorry.
Nope.
No. And it just takes it away. And Aurora pilots Ares almost better than anybody else, if not the best. So we'll have to see how that pans out. I think you have to look at it and go, hey, Aurora gets first blood, so cowabunga, dude.
Cowabunga, bro. They're riding the wave, riding that first blood. We asked the question, how do you beat Aurora? You don't. You just stay far the hell away. Panatom trying to bring that same aggression onto the Kate in mid. Drop down to a quarter, but at the very least, staying alive. But Cowabunga still just trying to lurk, waiting for her to step a toe out of line. Here comes Panatom to humble the overstepped mid. One more flash of the blade. Freya's head will roll.
Yeah, that's what Panatom does best. You wanna step up? You think you're safe under your tower? No, 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 friend. I am Sasano, and I will pull you into the fray. And Panatom does it just instantly there. Not much you can do about it. I was going to comment on the fact that I think if you want to kill Aurora here, it's going to have to be through a gank. But Yarkor is getting aggressed on now. There's the disapparate.
And I don't think they got enough health. One more slap of the mutton chop might finish the job. King Bop bops him on the head. Yarkor will fall. Ares might go down next. Here it comes. But oh no, you've been pulled right back in. Fortunately, close enough to Rex gets that kill. Bacchus might fall in trade, but at the very least you put Aurora back in their place. Panatom sweeps up the support.
I am not going to lie to you. That was such a good play by Honda, but I was really concerned that Panatom might hit level 5. Luckily for them, he doesn't. But a great play there, going in, taking down Yarkor, putting the pressure on the Soul. Meanwhile, we have Rabbit over here looking for a kill, going under the tower.
Oh, those flurry strikes. Gets to level 5 as well. Brilliant engagement. This player is absolutely foaming at the mouth. Rabbit trusting their ability to finish the kill, knowing it would get them level 5, and they escape.
What a fantastic play by Rabbit. And honestly, if we learned anything from our Cowabunga cast last week, you have to keep Sant humble. And the first way to do that, gank him as Loki.
True. Man, we really are sticking with the themes here. I appreciate that. Thematic consistency is always nice. And you know what? Talking about some lore building here, my friend. Talk to me about this Freya versus Paul matchup. I'm pretty sure those two got some history.
Yeah, I mean, I've played against them in a tournament or two back in the day, and honestly, these two together were a force to be reckoned with, and it's going to be a fun time watching this battle play out throughout the game, because not only were they previously teammates and they previously played a lot together, but I think they're on two kind of fun gods to watch in the mid lane. You have Hecate that can do a ton for your team fight, but you have Neith that can also go, hey, you over there, you're low health. I don't know if you know this. And then, you know, boom goes the dynamite as they snipe you from across the map. So I think it's going to be a fun time. We'll see who gets the edge this time around.
You got to imagine that they also, for that reason, being former teammates, being once brothers on the field of battle, now forced to combat against each other, they might know each other step for step a bit more. Of course, we're in a different game nowadays, but it's still the same person piloting those keys. Rabbit trying once again to maybe find this nice cheeky kill on a solo troll, playing that tower line safely. Maybe not safe enough though. Here comes the assassination attempt, and there's the storm call, slamming it down. Feed the maw. One more kill there for the shock.
Into the Maw Sot Falls. What a fantastic bait there by Maw. The chalk just baiting, saying, come on, come fight me, come fight me, come fight me. And then Loki comes up out of nowhere. You don't even see him coming because he's in the invis. He hits the ultimate. It's feeling great across the board there. Honestly, if you're Honda, you're ecstatic right now. Yeah, you're down 400 gold. That's nothing at this point. You're up in kills. And the momentum is going to be key in this game.
Seems like we're trying to see if this Fury area is warded, which indeed it is. So wisely recognizing that and just wisely as well going to play this one safe. What we talked about last game, this Loki needs to dedicate its attention as well. Seems the solo lane is where we're going. Do we think that's going to find enough impact late game to make the Amaterasu not contribute enough to those team fights?
I think if you're going to fight Ama, now's the best time to do it. She is the weakest in the early game. So you need to go ahead and force her to stay there as long as possible. But I like what we're seeing out of Rabbit here. Now, ganking Paul in the mid lane, maybe changing targets to Panatom here.
Jungle for jungle and mid for mid, both scrapping against their other counterparts here. And neither one will find the kill that opened the gates. Gets a bit too much space for them to actually try to pursue. That's okay, Panatom says. I'll just wander somewhere else. And Paul charging up that arrow, just trying to get that trigger finger ready, practicing it, warming it up in potential for Panatom to gank this left lane. Jingwei could find themselves in a bit of trouble, but seems that Panatom will leave them alone for now.
I like to believe in those moments, you're like, Paul's ulting, and you're like, where? And we're like, we don't know. He's just kind of spinning in a semicircle back and forth. He's
Get
out
down!
somewhere. Get down! Get in the bushes! Like you have to figure out a way out. But now it's Cowabunga pulling the Gold Fury here, and I don't know they're gonna have much competition for it.
Solo or Troll, in fact, puts the counter kill on Rabbit while the rest of the team grabs that Fury. All by yourself, unfortunately, means that Solo will go down in trade. So Ma gets fed once again, nearly loses their life for it, to be fair. So Amaterasu putting up a good fight. Rabbit can certainly attest.
The thing I love that Ma has going on, besides like obviously winning the solo matchup right now, is Triton's Conch. It is such a fun item to build when you're wanting to build a bruiser. You get the int, you get the strength, and you can distribute it to your teammates. It's going to feel really good on the chalk here. But now we have a fight over here in duo, and it might not be going in the favor of Cowabunga.
No Escape brings back in the Bacchus, chained up, the flames to follow. Whether it be solar areas, they can still provide. Yarkor brings the heat, and King Bop Bop gets the beat. Bacchus goes down.
Yeah, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. And King Bop Bop said, yeah, I'll see you later. I'm going to dash over here where it's a little bit cooler, get my wave.
Store.
And it was good damage there. It looked like it was starting off really, really good for Honda. Then you have Aurora hitting the no escape, and it just goes really, really well for them. So a nice turnaround there by Cowabunga.
Now about 8 minutes in here, it's 5-5, even kills, but the Gold Fury certainly does spell a bit more of a lead their way. 1,400, not super significant, but still nothing to sneeze at. You have as well that Naga on their side. You gotta imagine that might be pulled any moment just so far. How can Honda make sure that even as they get these kills evened up, they're also making sure to keep up with the farm?
I think you just really have to be on your timers. It's going to be really important here. And honestly, fighting Panatom in the jungle is a scary time right now with that Avenging Blade. But more from that after this fight, possibly.
Panatom able to get out, cruising thanks to that jet stream, able to find that easy private jet right back to safety. That looked scary for a moment. I had fears, but of course Asano, 3 dashes and a dream, easy peasy, able to escape.
Yeah, I think if you're Panatom, you're feeling pretty good about that. You got a lot of value out of being over there. They're just now pulling Naga. Naga might not go in favor of them. Aurora's trying to make the corner. Looks like they're able to pick it up, but Aurora was definitely on the move there. This Naga buff is going to feel good, because what does it allow you to do? It allows you to go objectives. You have little Naga soldiers that are going to help you out. You can go to towers. You can go to objectives. They're going to help you shred it. And Honda taking that away from Cowabunga is significant. It should allow them, hopefully, to push somewhere, or if anything, just keep the push coming to them.
Maybe going up to this Jingwei instead. Bacchus making the rotation as Ares tries to wind around, trying to find that sneaky chain link. Only going to find the Bacchus, and right afterwards Jingwei too, and they can't even really threaten him. Look at that, it's decent poke right there from Aurora, unanswered despite the fact that Soul was way back clearing minions.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels really good if you're Aurora and you can just step up and they respect you that much. That has to feel good. You're like, I'm Ares, and they just stare at you, and they don't want to step out of their tower line. The respect for the Aurora pick is definitely felt here. But Honda is still in this game. Honda is by no means out of it. This first 10 minutes has really gone well for them. And honestly, in the solo side, it's been the best. Ma still with the lead over there. Can they push it somewhere else? But now, it's Aurora on the aggression.
King Bop Bop decides to share their booze before they drunkenly stumble back to the fountain. Very kind of you, my friend. Sharing is indeed caring, but Cowabunga care more for the kills than the friendship. Puts them up the lead with this kill count. Now Rabbit being chased away by Panatom. A question that I always like to ask when it comes to these team fights that are soon to be coming for us. Honda, what does their ideal team fight look like in terms of the PEMDAS, those orders of operations?
I mean, really and truly, you want to get Yarkor or Aurora out of there first. I don't think that's going to be easy to do, so I think you kind of have to switch it up. Carries aren't really going to be an option early, I don't think. You need to look towards, I would say, Sot, Panatom. I think those are easier targets for you to get. They're going to be stepping up. And honestly, so far, we've seen a really good play here by Ma. Ma getting a silence on multiple targets will set you up for victory. You just have to make sure you're around to capitalize on it.
the one thing that does make it difficult is no blink, so no obvious engage that can really be hidden away. Honda, though, hiding away this potential pull for the second Fury. Although, charging up that trigger finger, finds a nice shot there on top of the Loki. Backflips away with style to take down Rabid. Honda, fortunately, still get that objective on their mark. Panatom wrapping around the back to see if they can sliver off a bit more damage onto Freya. Panatom takes away that kill and sneaks back to the rest of their team. So Honda gets that objective. They unfortunately leave behind 2 corpses.
Yeah, Honda, you know, you're stalling out this gold lead from getting too massive, and I love it. You also keep them from getting that second tier of Gold Fury buffs. Really, really well played here by Honda. Sadly, you lose 2 people. You know, Paul does Paul things and, you know, makes Loki vanish. Loki's really good at doing that, just not in that way that you wanted. But now, oh no, Rex. No, not like
that
this.
That was so sad. Tried to take the carpool lane, and instead Cowabunga carjack him and steal their ride. Might be looking for the Maw. You hungering for some slashes in the back, buddy? Says absolutely not. Please, I'm full. Thank you very much. The Torrent, only gonna find yourself in the midst of more, but here comes the backup. Rabid takes down Panatom for the shutdown. Unfortunately, the Maw, their eyes were bigger than their stomachs. Sot takes them down. Loki could be in a bit of trouble. No escape, and Sot's re-entering the fray. Drops down that decoy, limiting your vision, and now it's even further blurred by the intoxication. Aurora still takes down Rabid. Sot will fall to King Bop Bop. Here comes the Neathel. Paul's warmed up that trigger finger, and they're raring to go. The Bacchus will fall as well.
Crazy fight. Like,
actually insane.
So back and forth. It is absolutely insane. I mean, Sot picks up that first kill there. It gets on the Rabid. Then it gets turned around. Maw goes, okay, I got to pick something up too. Maw looks like they might survive. Sadly, Rabid isn't able to help capitalize on a kill to maybe save them. And Maw takes a fall. Then it just kind of spirals from there. The King Bop Bop gets bopped by that Neathel right at the end of it, so not a fun time. But we love to see the Bacchus walk up and go, hey, you know what's really cool? Auto attack, and they get a kill. It's just one of those things that's when you're the support and you see a low health target, when you can go auto attack and get the kill, it's such a good feeling.
Especially when your auto attack is a giant slab of mutton. Just feels really good. Jingwei gonna ride that updraft from the Susano Typhoon with that airstrike to get back to safety. No harm, no foul quite just yet. Could be a bit of harm though on top of Panatom if they continue to push the aggression. King Bop Bop is chained up. King Naga wants to participate as well. Now Panatom having to use those beats to quickly escape back to safety. While the rest of Honda tries to wrap around, Aurora could be in a bit of an issue. Jingwei returning with that rapid resurrection. Aurora, unfortunately, doesn't have such luxury. You're going to have to resurrect after a quick cooldown for your kill count. 30 seconds off the board there for the Ares.
If I'm Honda, this is the go button. You got rid of the Ares, you got rid of a tank. It's time to put the pedal to the metal and start getting a few things. Start off with the Naga, make them step up. It's a little bit scary that Panatom's there. That Avenging Blade does a lot of work in the jungle, slowing people down and really just allowing Panatom to do what he does best and run it down. Now, Naga is pulled here. It's getting a little bit out of its leash limit, but this could ensue a fight.
Oh no, a lot of damage already dropped onto Panatom. They fall to the dot from Rabid. Yarkor still doing their damage. They're heating up. Double kill off the quickness. Queen Naga, though, going to find him. And they also not only take the kill, they take Soul's face as well. Absolutely devilish. They just, I guess they learned from the Bravosi assassins in Game of Thrones. But that was beautiful work by the objective to answer back.
Like, I don't even understand what, like, Rabid made such a good play. Comes in and says, all right, we got him, guys. And Yarkor goes, hey, you know what's really cool? Auto, 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 auto. Oh, everybody's dead. And Queen Naga goes, hey, you know what's cooler than that? Watch this. Have a spear, maybe 2, and gets a double kill. Really and truly. Naga, Queen Naga
MVP?
just came in crazy right there. MVP to say the least.
You know, can't say I'm the biggest supporter of the Monarchy, but if it's Queen Naga, I'll make an exception. You know, harking back to a couple fights ago, boys. Cowabunga did actually secure a Pyromancer to their side. Must be noted, of course, that objective has made a return, and that bomb's firmly in the pocket of our friend Sot. Now 15 minutes. 14-9. It's a Fury apiece. But that gold still swinging quite the way of our friends on order. 7,000 just about. They got to find for Honda a bit of a way to crank this car into overdrive. But what is it?
Look, I go back to, what was it, a mere 4 minutes ago when Honda secures Gold Fury, and it's a 2,000 gold difference. Okay? This gold lead has gotten blown open by Cowabunga. And what's happened since then? They've traded fights that are pretty even. They are just going through the map, and the macro diff is insane. This is what makes Cowabunga so devious to play against. And now you're getting ran down by Aurora and Sot, and that's not a fun time either. Oh.
Certainly not. A few more slashes of the sword, and Bacchus will fall. Gold Fury as well. A second one just continues that legendary macro play,
What?
but hold on! FG picked up as a response. Honda taking some lessons there from their adversary. They don't want to fight, they just want to retreat. Maybe goad Cowabunga into a position where they're not quite favorable. Stormcall finds 2 targets. Just trying to secure a bit more space. Unfortunately, there's no escape for you. Pulls back in Ma. Gonna be able to get that rain dance going. And with that, that slows Samba back to their own side of the map. Honda come away with that with the better end.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they didn't take the fight in right lane. I don't think they knew where Aurora and Yarkor were until they showed up in mid, and at that point it was too late to push that fight. But now they're grouped and they can do something. Cowabunga may have overstayed a bit of their welcome, but does anybody end up going in with King Bop Bop, or does he just take the spill on his own?
Oh no, the King might take a tumble here. They might get their crown toppled. Unfortunately, the rest of Honda, like you said, we're just not ready to follow up. It might just be a bit of learned helplessness sometimes. You're not used to being the one with the driver's seat, so once you find yourself behind the wheel, you say, what now? And now Honda have to figure that out.
I mean, honestly, though, this works out. The gold lead, it extends by 500-600 gold, whatever. You hold Fire Giant in the palm of your hands now, which gives you a substance of control in this matchup. Yes, they get the Gold Fury. Their minions are a little bit empowered. But you have the ability to shred some objectives a little bit better now,
Yes.
and possibly take a fight in your favor. Yarkor now looking like might be in a little bit of trouble.
That could be rough there, gets the belch. Unfortunately, that separates. Such a great safety card to buy time for Panatom, the cavalry, to arrive. And that's enough for Honda to recognize we don't want to make a mistake here. We've got a really good thing going for us. We need to be concerted. We need to be cohesive. We need to find a point for all 5 of us to fight around. What point do you expect that to be?
They're going to have to worry here because Panatom is going in. Ma's ult's down, and I think the one thing you need to be able to fight around if you're Honda is the ultimates of Ma
Yeah.
and King Bop Bop. Those things are going to allow you to do so much. Pyromancer's up right now. Cowabunga are going to get that. Cool. Let them. You're going to go get a tier 1 tower, which doesn't seem like a lot right now, but it's going to help with the gold diff. You need to go ahead and get some of these towers because really and truly, the tier 1s are what you're down tower-wise. If you can push a tier 2 possibly and get it, this opens up a lot for you on the map.
Unfortunately, Panatom's doing the exact same thing on the right side. That split push should come back to pay dividends. Honda, though, trying to pay them right back with this tier 2 that they quickly lose the stomach for. Panatom having better luck as 1 man than Honda are as 4 with Fire Giant, and it's unfortunate to see, but it's also understandable given the team fighting prowess here of Order. Now Honda could be in trouble, getting sniped out, forcing the beads off the Sakate. Might look for the Bacchus with a dazzling offensive. That open the gates is not going to save you or your team. The Intoxicate could make it a bit more tough as they try to do a field sobriety test for the Amaterasu. Aurora does take down Rex. Solo or Troll takes down Bop Bop. It only was looking so good a few moments ago. What happened? Honda are starting to crash. They're unfortunately skidding into the rails. Ma might be at least allowed to get back to the safety of that tier 2 tower. Aurora's not going to grant him it for that much longer. It says safety is for but a moment. Pulled right back in. A big torrent, though, sends him back to Phoenix. Get them steps up, my friend. Aurora will fall to the last shot from that tier 2. It will tumble, though.
Honestly, this is a fantastic trade for Cowabunga. Like, they take the win in every regard on that front. What was scary there for Honda? Honda had a really good positioning around that tier 2. It looked like they were going to be able to do something. Sadly, Panatom pushes everything down the right side. I think at that point, they get a little antsy. They go, okay, maybe we can't be here. We need to get out. But the problem for them is Freya had a really good open the gates ultimate that looked like it might be able to set something up. But had it actually pulled Cowabunga, and Cowabunga just was like, hey, we're going to hard dive into that, it could have been catastrophic for them. Luckily, that isn't what happened, but Paul getting aggressive here with the ultimate.
That jet stream on the back of the box is going to be rough, and Cowabunga say, oh, you started a Fury for me? You shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have. Unfortunately, it's going to go down the way of Cowabunga. without any issue. Now they just retreat. Dazzling offensive used. Fine. That's A-okay. Next team fight around, it'll be right back up. And now your cooldowns for your jungle buffs won't be. Just going to rob that away before they start the back again.
Yeah, remember the time when Ma was ahead? Yeah, me too. That was the first 20 minutes of the game, and now Sada showed up. You kept him humble as long as you could, and he is here to wreak havoc, especially with a Fire Giant coming up. Honda need to be very, very weary of this next pull, because here's the deal. Gold Fury's not up. You're not going to get it for free 99 this time around.
Yeah. You get a Naga. That's nice, but that's discount. That's, you know, buy one, get one. We don't really feel good about that deal because we know it was just given to us for pity. Cowabunga are looking for the whole enchilada. And Honda have got tools. They can certainly come back big in this fight, but it's going to come down to Ma keeping that ultimate in pocket and initiating well with it. But with Cowabunga being so aggressive, it's a tough ask.
Yeah, I think it's really scary here. You haven't been able to get to Yar core very often right now. Yeah, he's 3, 2, and 4, but he is dishing out some massive damage. Paul is literally just sitting back and saying, I dare you to step up in the wrong position so I can hit you with the stun and you will die thereafter. We've seen it happen many times. The Fire Giant is what's being pulled here. Do Honda decide to get a little bit of aggressive and try to get a steal?
They were just beating in kills. A brilliant cohesive effort by Panatom, and the Neath ultimate from Paul takes down already the Loki. Freya's going to be taken off next by Yarkor. The airstrike only grants you a bit of space, but just for a moment. Bacchus Belch might give a bit of respite there to their carry. Not enough. Rex gets taken down by Panatom. And the glorious charge, solo or troll, will be humble no longer. Double kill there for Panatom. Near deicide as Ma. You've had your time in the sun, buddy, but now it's all looking to go dark.
What a fantastic play there. I mean, the fact that Sot didn't die is absolutely incredible, but Panatom just comes and reels them in. The bait and switch pulled off by Cowabunga here really set them up. They didn't need fire, but, you know, they set it up to make it appear that they do, and now they're on the Titan looking to end the game.
We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. Honda, unfortunately, turned a bit too hard. They hydroplane, they crash. Cowabunga takes it in spades. Solid game there to their side, man. Cowabunga, take it in spades. Can't quite complain about that. I mean, Honda, they had their moments. First 20 minutes, like you said, it was all looking good. Where did it all change?
I mean, what's crazy is this is going to sound insane. It changed after they got Gold Fury, right? Like, they got Gold Fury, and then after that, Cowabunga's like, yeah, we can't have that. And
Moment,
like
no problem.
it turned around on top of them. Like, they're like, cool, we got an objective. We're only 2K down. And Cowabunga goes, yeah, that's really cool. Watch this. And then they just ran the game after that. I mean, yes, there were good fights that went back and forth, but the gold lead just amassed. And it finally hit critical mass around 6,000, 7,000 gold. And Cowabunga kind of just walked away with it.
It's so sad to say that's the point, but I have to completely agree that Cowabunga really said at that moment, yeah, but I've only really shown you 30% of my real power. And then they turned up the temperature, and Honda just couldn't quite take it. The car fire just resulted after that. Said and done. They had good moments, though. If we were to point out those standout moments there in this game from Honda, which key players, which key plays do we think contributed to them staying alive for so long?
Honestly, this is interesting too, is Ma playing Chalk and Rabbit playing Loki worked so well together. And it's not typically solo jungle together that you see kind of like giving the highlight points of teams. You always like lean towards the carries. But these two played so well together, and they kept Sot out of the game for quite some time. Not to say that Sot was ever really, really out of it, but they kept him from rotating to team fights. They kept him behind for long enough. And I think that's a shining point. The rest of the team, it will come with time. But if these people stay together, there's something there.
Absolutely, and you gotta imagine it hurt Paul to put that dagger in the heart of their former friend Frey with their last words saying, brother, how could you? But that's okay. We'll see more of Honda in the future, I am sure, and we are certainly going to be seeing more of Cowabunga in just a moment. But before we can even get to that, quick break for you, so don't you dare go anywhere. More Smite Prime action coming at you in just a bit.
All the barricades, I wanna
I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Nothing in the world could ever be good again. I've been nothing but a girl who really should be nothing less. Don't mess up, and don't you tell us so how you actually feel. If you do, then they'll cut you right at the heel, and it hurts. No one can save you. It's all on your mind to change too. And baby, you can really try if you climb your way up. Do it on your own and you shit out of luck. Nobody will help if you're flying too close to the sun. 'Cause you're gonna get burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned. Burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned. 'Cause you're gonna get burned. They say you should never roll all the dice without a hand. It's make or break when you never did stand a chance. Don't mess up, don't you tell us so how you actually feel. If you do, then they'll cut you right at the heel, and it hurts. No one can save you. It's all on your mind to change too. And baby, you can really try if you climb your way up. Do it on your own and you shit out of luck. Nobody will help if you're flying too close to the sun. 'cause you're gonna get burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned. Burned. Yeah, you're gonna get burned.
is slowly taken away. I miss the way that we were in harmony. I'm having trouble letting go. I close my eyes and wish you were closer. Now we're like footprints in the snow, slowly fading until it's over. Our memories won't last forever. Now love you for eternity. So baby, let's get back together. I'll show you what you need, a symphony. It isn't strange that we are still feeling connected. So I propose that we embrace love, hope, and our affection. Nostalgia is crashing down, a bittersweet burning feeling. 'Cause when I start to look around, home isn't the same way you're leaving. Our memories won't last forever. Now love you for eternity. So baby, let's get back together. I'll show you what you need, a symphony. A symphony. A symphony.
Be quiet. I hear the thunder that comes from far away. It's like a noise in my head. Oh, these were hearts, these were hearts. It gets you deep beneath the sky. Oh, these were hearts, these were hearts. It gets you deep beneath the sky. 'Cause things fall apart and it frees your heart. It's no longer the same. 'Cause things fall apart and it frees your heart. It's no longer the same. We need to get up. We need to get up. We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. All we need to do is to get out of here. We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. All we need to do is to get out of here. Cause things fall apart and it frees your heart. It's no longer the same. We need to get up. We need to get up. Oh,
Next to the girl with a broken heart and a temper like the fallen leaves. I want to have you, I'm nothing without you. The music, it needs you, and I do. I breathe you. Try to erase us, the look on their faces when they thought they'd break us. We were ready for the earthquake. They say to run when the ground starts shaking, but I know where I'm gonna be. Next to the girl who can take my heart and fulfill my every fantasy. I want to have you, I'm nothing without you. The music, it needs you, and I do. I breathe you. Try to erase us, the look on their faces when they thought they'd break us. We were ready for the earthquake.
Stranded in the open, dried out tears of sorrow, lacking all emotion, staring down the barrel, waiting for the final gates to open to a new tomorrow. Moving with the motion,
Say I'm dangerous 'cause I broke all the cages. No, I didn't take it. No, no. They let me put that, I guess they'll never learn. Every time I break, there's just more pain to burn. They'll never, never, never learn. Till the battle's won, still kingdom come. Let's do it, loyalty, 'cause I'm taking what you see.
just walk on water cause I'm drowning and you made it. Met you on the corner, first in love, it was payday. Candy colored nails, match the candy coated bands. I needed your contact, my eyes bugging out my head. Cause you hot as shit, nah, just she African. Not no bottom, top notch out here. Love me like I love myself, love it when she smile at me. White teeth with a heart of gold, now I'ma put a diamond in it. Ring, 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 love calling me. Ring like the camera is free, when she calling me. Ring, 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 love calling me. Ain't gon' pay a man to pick you up, you stay down for me. Eyes closed, arms out, flying. Red Bull, babe, you give me wings, pilot. Girl, I love your voice, sound like love calling it. Love called again, and I ain't miss a call yet. And I ain't miss a call yet. Love called again, and I ain't miss a call yet. And I ain't miss a call yet. Love called again, and I ain't miss a call yet. All around freak in a nurse circumference. When she round me, she come first, and she quick. She say she feel my emotions when I just give thanks, can't believe we in the same bed. God do it best, shout out to my angel, she a mess. Clean up when she stressed, never stressing me. Lucky please, I'm the luckiest, feel it in my chest. Treasure you, I swear you a diamond. Ring, 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 love calling me. Ring like the camera is free, when she calling me. Ring, 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 love calling me. Love calling again, and I ain't miss a call yet. And I ain't miss a call yet. Love called the flame ignite. Let the flame ignite. They like to judge me before they get to know me. But while you're joking, I was getting me some money. Flying across the country, now they're flying for me. Broke a record back in Donny, that's a different story. Don't ask me if it's wrong or right. This for the lies you've been leading all my life. And you better run and hide. I'ma let the flame ignite. Don't let me tell you twice, I'ma let the flame ignite. Let the flame ignite. They like to judge me before they get to know me. But while you're joking, I was getting me some money. Flying across the country, now they're flying for me. Broke a record back in Donny, that's a different story. Major damage, locked and loaded. They start to panic, but they're standing frozen. Ground is shaking as the doorway opens. These hearts are racing, sudden slow motion. Don't ask me if it's wrong or right. This is for the lies you've been leading all my life. And you better run and hide. Don't let me tell you. Let the flame ignite. Don't let me tell you twice. I'ma let the flame ignite. And you better run and hide. Don't let me tell you twice. I'ma let the flame ignite.
Well, this one is a knocker. Step in on the dance and I just my dance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Smite Prime Time semifinals between one good player on our entire team and the Bakery. I'm D'Lo, joined here by Blaze McBain, joined here by Cat Almighty Eye in the Sky, and Jithin's behind the curtain. You watching at home, Blaze. How we feeling?
I mean, it's always feeling good if we're getting to cast some Smite too. You know, and we can't ever have a bad time of casting. Odin, banned away. Susano, banned away. Off the rip. We've seen these two picks do really, really well tonight. I'm not surprised to see either of them thrown to the wayside. But this leads us into our first pick here for one good player on our entire team. And it's gonna be the Ragnarok King, Fenrir.
I'm sure you're pleased about that, Blaze. And
I
I'm
am.
sure they're pleased about it as well. It's a god that I think has been banned every single game we've seen so far, if I'm correct. So
Yeah.
makes sense that it being untouched, we are going to pick it up. Jingwei is going to be that answer. Not too shabby a response. Can escape that Ragnarok with that CC immunity. Just linger in the sky for a bit longer. But I've got to wonder, were there higher priority picks you think that should have been picked up first?
I think, well, there it is. Amaterasu is
Ah,
always
there we go.
open. But I was gonna say, like, I guess you could argue the Ama maybe, but really and truly, I think Fenrir is just in a really, really good spot. He's also really, really good for flex pick potential. He can go jungle, he can go support, he can go to solo, and he can even dabble in the carry lane. But we do have to worry about the doggo this time around because he's against the Bakery, and you can't feed a dog chocolate. So we'll have to see how that goes. Can he nom nom his way to victory? We will see soon. Neith and Hecate, two gods we just got done watching, have a pretty good performance on either side. And I'm actually really curious to see how these play together and maybe play off this Ragnarok.
It's just great displacement here on the side of one good player in our team, and it's with players who certainly know how to react to someone who you say, hey, I brought you a chew toy, kill it. The Bakery respond with some nice CC of their own. In my favorite form, the Ice Giant joins the team.
It's crazy that the two gods we've been wanting to see all night get picked in the same game
It
after
rains
just
of course.
being ghosted the previous two games. Obviously, Fenrir was banned, but Ymir has just been kind of left to the wayside. And now we'll get to see the Frost Giant, breathe a breath of fresh air in this game, along with the Loki pick here. And Loki looked really good last time around, but every game tonight that we have seen a Loki, D'Lo, it has been a loss for that team.
And it's not like the pick hasn't had its good moments. I think what it can kind of come down to is the fact that it's not a team fight god. And at the end of the day, this is a team fight game. Despite that map being a lot bigger, there just hasn't been a lot of room to get that split pushing going. You haven't gotten to see, outside of a few special plays, a Loki really get that 100-0 going. Bacchus is also certainly capable of that, but also with AoE and tank to boot. They're going to join the side of one good player.
Yeah, I'm really curious what this last pick for one good player is going to be because we don't know where Fenrir is going. I want to assume that it's going jungle because that's where we want to usually see Fenrir. But I'm looking at this and that could go elsewhere. It's a Hades last pick. Didn't expect to see that.
No.
Excited to see it though.
I gotta agree. This is a guy that's been a bit maligned, despite from that one time when they were first released and everyone wanted it on their roster. And it's got some tricks for you. It's got some sustain. It's got some great CC. It's got, again, keyword, displacement.
Yeah, I think the fear is going to be really interesting here, but also this the use of the ultimate and the fact that you
Yep.
can recast one of those abilities. Do you decide to reposition? Do you decide to go for extra damage? Do you decide you want to fear within that CC that's already happening? There's a lot of options for the Hades pick here, and I'm curious to see, does this mean Bacchus might go solo, or is it going to stay in the support lane? I'm assuming we're going to see it in support, Bacchus in the solo, but you never know in Smite 2. It's a classless game. It's whatever they want to do. We'll have to see what one good player decides where it should go.
The realms of classism do not affect our gods here in the battlefield. All are created equally, unless it's about the skills that you show on the field. Sir Nunos, going to be the Bakery's final lock, and you got to imagine that's rolling in to that mid. What that does mean for us here, the Bakery are cooking with 4 physicals.
Yeah, and I get worried about that. Like when we have the 4 physical comps, I don't think it's something that's thought of too often when we're in Smite 2 because everybody's like, oh, it's a classless system. Like there's no hierarchy here. Every god can play whatever role and it can have whatever items built on it. But physical defense still does physical things. Okay?
Yep.
It blocks the physical damage. Now,
Yep.
I do have to say, I look at this Jing Wei, and I actually prefer to see Jing Wei go mid and Kernanos go into the dual lane just because of the Jing Wei passive. I think it works out a little bit better.
Very fair point. Getting back very quickly to lane, just keep up that farm, resume right where you left off. So you got a bit of flexibility there for the Bakery. That's nice. What I am worried about is, yeah, the inflexibility of the Ice Giant, you know? Quite literally is stone cold hard. This guy is going to break before they bend. And if they don't provide enough damage to make one good player fear the Ymir, there's no reason to build defense on that side.
Yeah,
That
I
being
get
said-
scared about Hades. Like Hades
Mhm.
against Ymir is an interesting battle. I think that's something to watch throughout this game because overall, this could be Ymir solo. We have seen Ymir in the solo lane. He does very, very well there, and I would actually like to see Amaterasu go into the duo lane.
Just get a bit of a change of pace, right? Different relics, different gods, and a different game with different teams. Let's get right into it. One good player versus the Bakery here. Game coming at you. I'm just going to keep going on down the line here with this question, Blaine, because it's an interesting one. Early game. Who's got the hands on it?
Sunder, Sunder, Sunder. There's 3 on the one team. Like one good player has 3 Sunders. If I am the Bakery, I am concerned because we have seen this story once before and it didn't go well. But look what the Bakery are doing. They are stepping up as 4. And I think if you're trying to fight this invade idea, it has to be stepping up as a group. You cannot sit there and stick 2 people on your buff and hope the best. But Donut Doug looks to get aggressive early, and this is a much faster fight than what we've seen.
The minions haven't even spawned. Leave them alone. Cyclone Spid's head's got to be given a turn, having to force instantly with that blink just to get themselves to safety. At the very least, staying alive, but having to back. And now with these buff timers, they might be able to get back in time, but they've cost themselves quite a lot of pressure as well as that relic.
Yeah, I mean, the blink literally saved Cyclone's life there because he is definitely dead if it's not for that. But the one thing to watch here is now that that's gone, Cyclone could be in a little bit of trouble with that Ymir coming up and being able to freeze at any time. So we'll have to see how that goes. But this is also one of the first times that we get to see Neath over in the dual lane rather than mid.
That is an interesting point. It, of course, means that travel time on the arrow might take a bit longer. In this case, though, the travel time on your buff, it's not getting to you at all. Stolen away there by the bakery. Bacchus trying to pull those same shenanigans in the opposite side of the lane. So that's A-okay. Nothing really new here as far as the farm wars go. It does seem like it's going to be firmly planted around Bacchus's waist. It's just the aggression we expect from this god.
Yeah, I like this play. I think the bakery got a really good start here because they pressured Cyclone out. They get the relic, and right now they have the advantage. Now, can they do something with it in the dual lane's the question? I guess.
They've answered. They've answered. Donut Doug puts a hole right in the Neath's forehead with these glaives. Opting for that level 1 freeze obviously costs you lane clear, but it gives you a lot of great lockdown, and it results in that first kill.
You don't need lockdown if you're one good player there. Like, you're just like, hey, I need to be able to get out. The bakery bakes their way to 2 kills here early, and this is not what we expected to see necessarily with this one good player team. This Bacchus, decided to go ahead and invade pretty hard. The bakery are paying dividends on the other end with it.
And look at that, backing. They don't want to count their chickens before they hatch. The bakery decided to go back to home instead of sticking around past their welcome. Fenrir makes the rotation, finds their claws are empty. Nothing going on here for one good player in our entire team. It's got to be a team effort. Gonna have to work together maybe to get down that vision on lock.
I'm really impressed by this. I think this is a really solid play here in the dual lane. They now know they have the pressure, and this is going to let so many other things happen. Cherry under attack here by the Amaterasu, which is interesting for us to see as well. Ama has not really got off to a quick start in any of these games yet, D-Lo. But I do want to focus on the bakery's pressure in the dual lane now. This allows, Jizzo to go wherever he wants on the Loki, and he doesn't have to focus on ganking duo.
And that always brings up that interesting philosophy because of the branching options there, like you said. Do you decide to try to extend the lead of the duo? Do you continue to try to stomp down this Neath into the ground? Or do you opt to try to pay a bit more attention, maybe give some TLC to our friend the Amaterasu? What do you think is the correct path?
I honestly think you're looking to help your Ama out here. You look over at that Hades pick. If you can keep that behind, it becomes really irrelevant very quickly. If your dual lane is sustaining, holding their own, and maybe doing even more than that at the rate it's going, oh my goodness.
2 kills on each side. Coast-to-coast violence. Fenrir trying to bring it back for their side. Vaporish Coast takes down Dashboard Twitch. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Cyclone finishes off Donut Doug as well. Cleans it up for dessert. Answers back with 2 kills overall. So even Stevens when it comes to that fight. Bakery's still up 2 kills overall.
Yeah, this is good by the bakery. They had the advantage there. They obviously get a little bit of pressure over in solo this time around, which is a nice, change of pace considering how much pressure they had in duo. But you do need to be a smidge careful here because now Vaporish Coast has a kill and is going to start doing things on this Fenrir. You have to know where he is at all times and what he has up at all times. Sunder is up. He's not quite. Oh, actually, he just hit level 5. Ragnarok is there.
Scary.
Is now in a scary position to do a lot of work in his ganks.
And he just stole away that speed buff. That doesn't feel good either. They're just going to continue that jungle oppression that we've seen from other good teams, such as Cowabunga. It's all about that macro, man. The kills can be up in your favor, but as we've proven time and time again, it's not all that matters in this game.
Yeah, and I think Bakery here, the one thing they need to do on their end to go, okay, cool. We lost 2 kills there. It's not a big deal. Reset. Let's go back to what we were doing that worked. Don't overextend. Don't let this ruin your mental. You're not only in the game, you still have the lead. All right? sure, one thing went wrong. Who cares? Move on. Let's try again. And PBM's already rotated mid. This is actually a different playstyle than we've seen from many of the supports. And I kind of like the idea is keeping the pressure on this Jingwei and saying, hey, you're not going to leave the tower line. You guys will have to step up and at least try to defend this.
It's pressure that comes with a caveat. Of course, if that Bacchus leaps on the Jingwei, you have that agility to get back to safety. That being said, it is worth noting. It is Jingwei mid, just like you asked for, and it's been provided. So what does this matchup look like between the Hecate Jingwei on their own? Uh-oh, Sage just dies.
Right now, it's okay, because this is the safety zone. Really and truly for the Jingwei, it being in mid provides just so much safety to that god. And now you can sit here and you can farm up, you get that crit online sooner. It's going to buy you a lot of space, especially when Coast is lurking around the corners looking to jump on you and get a kill.
Neath looking through the scope as 3 members of the bakery just leering at him like a croissant. Gonna try to cook up this PBM kill, not gonna be obliged. Instead, the Neath ult gonna be falling on the Ymir's back. Ragnarok, those teeth sink in awful sharp. Bit more damage than the deed is done. Cyclone spin takes down the Ymir once again. Loki might follow. Aegis expended. It's not enough. The rotation from BennyQ wipes off Jisoo. That's 2 more kills here in the side of one good player on our team. It's an awfully good play.
Yeah, they got a little bit too cheeky there, the bakery. They decide to step up and try to hide around a corner and hopefully things go well. And now Donut Doug. Oh my goodness.
The crossing of the Blue Angels. You see the way those 2 left. Bacchus Floppus is on in. Vaporish Coast Unchained. Though they will go down. PBM taken out by the tower. Hey, from the grave.
I mean, you're feeling pretty good about that, you know, Donut Doug. You had a double kill. You weren't even alive for it. But that fight originally started off with the bakery just being a little bit too cheeky. Like, they were going, okay, we're all going to, we have 3 people over the duo side. We're going to set up this gank on the Cyclone spin. Cyclones goes, I'm just not going to leave my tower until my team starts rotating. And then, as they go in, they pay the price. And not only that, when you're Loki, you see a low health target, you're like, oh, I want to get that kill. But you don't get it. Vaporish Coast lives and turns it around. So again, watch out for this Fenrir. He already has Avenging Blade online. If you're taking fights with him in the jungle, it's going to be a bad time.
Seeing a fight through right here around this Fury. PBM walks up, steals it. Happy as a clam, happy as a Bacchus in the liquor store. And they're looking for more at this point. Bakery could find themselves in trouble. Your goose might be cooked, Ymir. Again, an easy target. Their ice has been melted. PBM follows up that Fury with a nice kill on top of the support. Might be Cernunos up next. BennyQ gets to enjoy life as a boar before PBM finishes the job. A Fury and a double kill. This Bacchus is hungry.
Yeah, this is not how you wanted that to go down. It looked like the bakery had everything going in their favor there. Going, hey, it's time to pull the gold. There's no one around. Well, PBM goes, hey, you want to see a cool trick? Drinks a little bit from the chug and goes, haha, and this sunders it away. Feels bad. Feels bad overall. Then they run it down and they pick up 2 more kills. They have to calm this down. They have to slow this down if you're the bakery. Let it bake. The key to good baking is slow and steady, and right now they're a little bit too fast. One good player is really showing that they have, maybe a little bit more than one.
The bakery could be in a bit of trouble here once again. PBM says, no objective is safe while I'm around. And now Ymir could be the first one on the mark again. Unchained going to get you a bit of safety and distance, but the Ragnarok going to get you even more. PBM using that belch for a bit of stun and a bit of peel. Jingwei getting some space with that airstrike, but the damage onto Cherry. Going to take that portal back to safety. Loki trying to find the sneaky backslash that'll finish the job. Drops the decoy. Good wall to interrupt PBM's charge. Cherry will go down, and now PBM has to retreat. BennyQ might be put up for the sacrifice. That shield eats an awful lot of damage. And a nice mez gives it a bit more space. Is this worth the chase? PBM lurking around that corner. Have to answer that question for you right there, Loki. A few more swipes from the mutton shop could finish the job, but they'll stay alive thanks to a well-timed Aegis. Overall, one good player on our team in the bakery, just trading shots in the jungle.
Nice play. The bakery return a kill there. It's going to feel really good getting that. But we have to kind of highlight a little bit for BennyQ there. BennyQ opens the gate, saves a teammate for the time being, and really does some support level things here from the mid lane. And it's nice to see that, because you can't always just do damage and it work out in your favor. Really good play there across both teams, and some people overstay their welcome and the bakery makes them pay. But now it's a fight with Vaporish Coast again.
A They're going to go aggressive? Indeed they will. They recognize the Neath arrows on the mark. We're going duck hunting today, boys. Benny Q gets the last shot off. Now Ymir trying to take down this puppy dog. Vaporishko still sitting with a decent amount of health and without that ultimate. Twitch recognizing there's really not too much to do. Can't quite scratch that kill itch. Instead, he's just going to answer back with a nice little gift for the team. Bacchus going to be trying to move in with that Belch. Seems that both teams satisfied at the moment with the blood they've wrought.
And this is the thing you have to worry about. You have the Neath that can just fire a shot at any time. If you're in vision, you're in for a bad time. She doesn't have to kill you with the ultimate. She just needs to stun you and set it up. And as you mentioned, you know, good old Dunt Huck Dog is there to help you out. It's Vaporish Coast around the corner again, and this is why Fenrir has been banned. He allows for so much aggression from the jungle, and his lifesteal and kit just feels good.
Yeah, and doesn't feel good if you're underneath the pressure from them. Amaterasu might be in a second, but Fenrir left over the wall, maybe not quite recognizing where they're positioned. Gonna be trying to follow them out to the ends of the earth. The Glorious Charge gives them a bit more space, but those are two mobile gods in hot pursuit. Will be able to escape for now. About 11 minutes into this game. 9-7. 1,000 gold lead despite that. Even with that Fury on the side of Order, Bakery are still hanging on very strongly.
Yeah, Bakery have turned this around. Obviously, it wasn't like so far out of reach for them, but it started to scale in that direction. And we love to see this, you know, okay? Things go not your way. Let's slow it down a little bit. Let's reset. Let's rethink how we want to approach these fights. The Bakery have done that. They've, you know, went ahead and stopped the bleeding for now. But there is a Gold Fury back up on the map, and the last thing you want to do is give one good player in our entire team another Gold Fury, so now they have enhanced minions to go along with their spoils.
It's what you said before. The Bakery got to make sure they keep cool, calm, and collected. Baking is a game of patience. You can't make modifications to the recipe, or it's all going to end up soiled. Looking for this Fury now. One good player, the one's initiating. And Bacchus going to flop us on in. Takes that second Fury for themselves. Benny Q separated, isolated. Has the Fenrir to back them up. Man's best friend, Hakate's best friend. Ensures they stay safe.
Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised that Cherry made the rotation over for the Gold Fury. Not saying it was a bad rotation, but with the pressure that Sages has on this Amaterasu, a little bit surprising to see the Hades make it over there. One good player, go ahead and pick up that Gold Fury. The enhanced minions are there, and now they're looking like they might have a fight coming their way in the mid lane.
Ragnarok scoops up one, but that portal could take you right back. Unfortunately, no. JJ goes down. Once again, Jingwei's been hunted down. Now the Ymir could be in a bit of trouble as well, trying to retreat back to their team. You got no portal left to help you. Bach is going to finish the job. That wall goes up just to fall down as the Ymir takes a tumble. Benny Q gets followed up by Jisoo. Sneaks in, sneaks out. Could unfortunately putting Sages up as a sacrifice. Vaporish Coast going to gobble up that kill. Overall, not too shabby a fight from the Bakery. They do unfortunately leave some corpses behind, more than good players.
Cherry almost gets a really sick play there with the Fear, where it allows him to get a tower shot. Instead, he'll get the ultimate here, and Donut Doug is in a bit of a donut of trouble.
Instantly just gets completely suplexed. RKO out of nowhere, that Fenrir. You did not see him lurking in the bushes. Now one good player trying to get this one last good bit of damage off on the Jingwei. Once again, no ultimate from the Neath, means no death quite just yet on the mid. That tier 1 tower, though, is a different story.
Yeah, and the Jingwei mid, again, it feels good because you can make it back to the lane. You can play relatively safe. But there's no tower defense there at the tier 1. And now you're in this bit of a stump of, we don't have a duo tier 1. We don't have a mid tier 1. And Cyclone Spin's aiming down the sights.
Jingwei once again caught in the crosshairs. One last bit of damage taken away by the Unchained. Vaporish Coast just is everywhere, doing everything all at once. 6-1. Ban this god.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a good god. It's the reason we've been banned all night, and now we finally see it. 6-1-7 Avenging Blade with a mystical male, because as we pointed out earlier, there are 4 physical gods on the side of the Bakery, and that may have been a misstep in their recipe for success.
Gonna look for this Pyromancer next, but maybe didn't quite read the directions on the boxes. Order taken away. Now the fight ensues. Will they have this on their end? Cyclone under a bit of pressure there from the Ymir. That's okay, just gonna back off easily. And now Loki find themselves in a bit of a sticky situation. Exit stage right, while the rest are in hot pursuit. Bach is trying to find this kill on the Amaterasu, who Sage has been doing very well this entire game. So a high priority target, they won't quite get them just yet.
I love that Cyclone Spin has been sitting in the bush waiting for someone to step up and find out. And just continues to sit there. It says, farm, who needs it? I'm level
Oh, Jingwei might
15.
find out.
And JJ might find out the hard way and actually does.
Oh, oh my god, Cyclone Spin lays a snare like Rambo. Vaporish Coast, though, finishes off Donut Doug instead. Target switch works out well for you. Either way, an 80 carry will fall. This time it's going to be the CERN.
Dude, if Cyclone Spin's sitting in the bush, cue up the Jaws music, because this man's lurking and waiting for you to step up and find out, and he sets up what ends up becoming a kill for the team. Overall now, this is going to allow one good player to pull this Fire Giant, but I don't expect the Bakery to let this go for free, as we see 3 members stepping up.
Can't bake without heat. Fire Giant certainly would provide them that, but Sherry's going to take it away. With that, Sages, what have you got for this fight? A dazzling offensive, but quickly they turn the lights off. Cyclone Spin is on the killing spree. Ragnarok going to bring back the Emir for just a second. A good rocket jump gives him a bit of space. Might not be enough, though. No more tricks left in your bag. You're putting the body bag instead. Cyclone Spin follows it up. Bacchus floppises on in. Takes down JJ. It's 3 members down and 5 with FG. One good player on our entire team are making it big.
Yeah, and this was the setup they wanted. They wanted to be able to pull Fire Giant. They wanted the Bakery to have to step up and be out of position. Not only out of position, but outnumbered in that fight. And it sets up Cyclone Spin for an early kill. Vapora's coach says, hey, I'm going to go play fetch real quick. I'll bring someone back. Sets up another kill, and then they pick up a third for good measure. And that gold lead that was, relatively close just a few minutes ago has now been busted open to about 7,000 gold.
Might be a bit more in a second with everyone gathering around this Fury Pit. You have Jisoo there to step up. It's not the god you want in a position for it. Anethol potentially being expended. They're just going to eat it for your CERN. Very valid of you, my friend Amaterasu, but Fury will go down nonetheless. Could be, though, Loki trying to cause some trouble. The damage is already done, though, and now you might be experiencing a bit of your own. We talked about it before, Blaze, the fact that Loki's a pivotal pick. 3-1 every time we've seen them. They've done well. It's just not enough. So what other players do we need to see maybe picking up a bit more slack in this team fight to ensure victory for the Bakery?
I mean, right now, if you go through and just off a scoreline alone, JJ is being kept out of these fights. 0-4-1 on the Jingwei. It doesn't feel good. But if you can find a way to get the Jingwei in the fight successfully and zone for it, all right, you're playing Protect the President. Except in this case, it's Protect the Jingwei. It's going to open up a lot for your game. Donut Doug has been doing a great job here on Kurtnanos, but you have to be able to set him up as well. You need to set up these carries for success. We just haven't got to see that just yet.
17 minutes, 18-8. Bakery starting to look to those bankruptcy filing charts. This could be rough, especially for our friend the CERN. Might be turning to lamb chops in just a second. Ragnarok going to bring him right back through that wild hunt. And Cyclone Spin with a nice little flourish of the backflip takes them down. Now aiming down the sights for any target unfortunate enough to cross. Not going to be using that ultimate just yet, but that's okay. They just got what they came for. A kill and some nice farm.
Not gonna lie, if I see Cyclo Spin with ult up, like if I see even Neath even think about taking the kneel for the shot, I'm dipping. I'm getting out of Dodge. It is not worth my time. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 because Cyclone Spin's about to send you to the gray screen. Yeah, get out of there. Put up the wall. Run away.
Yeah,
he is just aimed down and he's ready. Oh, okay, you hit him. That wasn't the idea. Unless you're going to fully commit, Cyclone Spin is scary. And there's why. He gets the stun.
Oh!
Wow.
Brilliant play, though, but Loki's coming to the back end. They could find Cyclone Spin. You got no ultimate, buddy. What else you got? I got a shield and I got the move. That backflip gives him a good amount of space. Trapped in. Benny Q could be in a bit of trouble here. Stunned. Now for the dazzling offensive, that talisman gives him a bit more CC immunity. That shield's keeping them in it for just too long at this point. They will be finally taken off by JJ. The Jingwei is staying in the fight and now dropping back down after the airstrike. The Bakery's looking low on their health bars. Did the recipe call for this? Cyclone Spin serves up a bit of JJ on ice, especially with the Ymir right afterwards. Unstoppable here for the Neath. Donut Doug gets put in their place by the Fenrir. Cherry falls, but Jisoo taken down for trade. Only one left alive is this Ama. Sage is having to sagely reflect on what went wrong in that team fight.
What went wrong is the double-double. All right, over on the left-hand side, you have Cherry and Coast going, okay, we're going to go get this Phoenix real quick. If you guys just want to hang out over there, you know, just chill. You just do Cyclone spin things on this Neath, and we saw it. He aims the ult down. It seems like, hey, they have a chance. But you got to stop the backflips. You have to be able to follow it up, and he just sets baits. He's like leading ET with the little Reese's Pieces, and they lead him straight to a double kill. And honestly, the bakery got baked.
They got cooked up, man. It was unfortunate. The bakery had some good moves there for a second. I like the idea as well. Take out Cyclone Spin, but maybe just a bit too evasive. Focusing on Benny Q earlier might have been the move. And they eventually did get that target switch. They did take them down. But with that shield to eat through, it just took a bit too much time. And all the while, you have Cyclone free casting. And you might be seeing it again here. Aiming down that scope, just practicing their aim at the moment. Cyclone's an absolute demon.
Yeah, I want to know what the call is from Cyclone Spin. Like, I wish we could listen in. He's like, aiming down sights, target confirmed, and he just hits them, dude. Like, and they just don't even stand a chance. Like, they think they can step up, they can't. Cyclone doesn't even need to have the ult. If you step up and he just hits you, like, it's wraps at this point. PBM jumps in with Benny Q and finishes off a kill here, and looks like a fight may ensue.
Pyromancer grabbed, Ymir grabbed as well. One good player in our entire team, very liable to begin this FG in earnest. The bakery just have to watch through the windows of their own store. Fenrir going in says, I can give you an up close and personal look. Brings him back to see the show. Donut Dog eaten up there by Benny Q. Beautiful game of fetch, completely dominated by the side of Order. FG now brought down to half, and Jingwei wants no part in this. I'm going back home. Loki agrees, going to push down this mid lane instead. And with that, FG goes down. A valiant effort by Sages once again, but this is your compensation. They will fall.
I mean, and this is what one good player on the entire team has done ever since the first Fire Giant. It's just been set up. Really and truly, the bakery did really, really well to start this game, and we saw it over that first, 5 to 7 minutes. It was even, and sometimes even in their favor, and now it just gets turned and toppled on top of its head as the mid-bird is aggressed upon again. And it's really been Vapor's Coast and Cyclone Spin finishing off a lot of damage and kills, but set up by the whole entire team as a whole here.
Oh no, Cyclone's aiming once again. Everyone, quick, run! Protect the president, get down! Cyclone's aiming for you. Loki's aiming to try to finally finish the job. It's not enough! Cherry takes down Jisoo. Donut Dog followed up for the nice double. Benny Q wipes away JJ. The bakery closed down for good.
Like, let's talk about this Hades pick for Cherry, right? Cherry literally just starts cherry picking enemies at the end of the game there, setting up so much. But we have to talk about this Neath. It gets first blooded. It looks like it might be a little bit of a dire situation to start the game, because we haven't, seen a Neath in carry tonight, and really, I don't know if we've seen a Neath in carry over the past 2 weeks. But then, to turn it around, that's the only death is that first blood? What a fantastic play by Cyclone Spin and the rest of one good player on the entire team. Seems like they might have 5 good players on their team.
So focused talking about the kills, didn't even get a mention. Yeah, Neath, despite being that carry, opts for that intelligence build, mollywops with those ultimates. Every single time that diamond's full, you see them get down on one knee, prepare to shoot the Ice Giant in the back. Pains me to see it too. 0-8, unfortunate. They really put in their best efforts, but they were a key target to begin every good fight from the good players.
Yeah, just a fantastic setup here. The bakery, again, not to dissuade or take anything away from them, they started off this game very, very well. Unfortunately, things did not go in their favor, but progress is what is the name of this game, and they're getting there slowly but surely. Each week, they're looking good. They're looking a little bit better, and I hope to see them continue on. But, it's Candy Crush time, some would say, D-Lo. We talked about this before the cast. And I feel like Vapor's Coast might have been saying a little bit of a tasty.
That was a
during that
delicious game for them, for sure. And we got more coming up for you in just a second. So don't you dare go nowhere. Finals of Smite Prime Week 3 in just a bit.
All the barricades, I wanna know why they hold me back. Need a miracle to break me through, but I won't get that. If I was a real wonder, then I could save me from turning around. Lift me off the ground, and one day I'll
show it. Tell me what you feel in your heart and your soul. There's nothing I would take for granted. With me, we'll make it through. Takes two hearts to fix heartbreak. We grew apart, I made a mistake, but I'll try to make it up to you, my darling. Ooh.
I wanna be a real one day. Heaven leaves me up from under. Wishing I could be somehow stronger now,
So I can fight away all the pain inside me. Never be afraid of the fate that finds me.
wish that I could be
Stronger,
so I can be a real one day.
so I can fight away all the pain inside me. Never be afraid of the fate that finds me.
Wish that I could be
Stronger,
so I can be a real one day.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the pinnacle of our Smite Prime night. It's finals, baby. Cowabunga looking to make it a hat trick for their Smite Prime titles up against one good player on our entire team. I'm D'Lo, joined here by Blaze McBain, joined here by Kat, joined here by Jithens, joined here by you, Blaze. How we feeling?
Dude, I was excited because we've been talking tonight about macro play. And these two teams are kind of the king of macro play. Now,
Indeed.
Cowabunga has been off to an early start these past few weeks, and even in the Founder Series, doing very, very well, and has been some kind of fragging out. But now, I think they have a little bit of competition here. I'm curious to see how these drafts end up with a Hecate band on the first ban.
Takes it out of Paul's wheelhouse, but also,
Yeah.
of course, takes it off of the other side, too. They don't want to deal with it. Could mean that they're looking for an Odin comp. Fenrir banned away. One good player recognizing better than anyone how unfortunately dominant that god can be. So it's the battle of the first picks. You just don't want to let either of those slide away. And now Cowabunga left with the question of who do we get first?
Looks like
Yep.
it's going to be the Odin pick. And I mean, not too surprised. I feel like it's either picked or it's banned, and it's been first picked when it gets through. The setup here is really, really good. Now, there is some good news for one good player on your entire team. Hecate is gone. You don't have to worry about people getting teleported out. You don't have to worry about teams teleporting in. I think that is a good pickup here, grabbing this Odin and really saying, you guys will have to take leaps or shell if you want to get out.
It's good news. You're absolutely correct, but I'd say it's also bad news in the sense that it's also a Hecate that can't be on your team to teleport you out. So indeed, they're going to have to force those leaps, force those shells. It does leave you in a bit of a vulnerable position because Amaterasu, a great god, Can't get out of the cage. So, bye, shell.
Yeah, but there's a Neath, and we saw a lot of backflips, aiming down sights, and Cyclone
True.
Spin just kind of
Scary.
going to work. And maybe the cage doesn't matter to Cyclone Spin. Maybe Cyclone Spin wants to be in the cage after last game. He's like, cage me, I dare you. We'll just have to see how that pans out. It looks like it's to be a Jing Wei pick here for Cowabunga, which can be just as threatening, along with a Soul. And this was something we saw in the first week of Smite Prime being back and specifically for Smite 2. Jingwei and Soul together won a lot of games. They work well together. They provide so much for your team in the DPS category that I am curious to see how it pans out. But it looks like you'll get your god this game. The Weimer Dimer has been picked.
Woot woot. I'm just hoping it performs a bit better than we got to see last time, and I think with these players, there's certainly a chance. Of course, the issue you do find is I got walls. Odin's got a wall of them as well, a circle, in fact, which is going to end up beating just the single line segment you can put up with that ice. Loki, again, a god that we've seen do some damage, but it's been unfortunately cursed all tonight. How do we feel in this context about the Loki pick?
Look, okay. Sooner or later,
It's
it
gotta
has
win.
to win again. It has
Surely.
to win. Like, it is 0 for 3 in the games we've got to cast tonight, but surely at some point, it gets a dub. Vaporish Coast looked really, really good on the Fenrir. You're now giving him a god that likes to just instantly delete people. I'm curious to see how this plays out. We're going to find out more in a little bit when we get in the game. But the Bacchus pickup on the other side just opens up so much for your game. This AoE comp, and that's what it is. It's a last pick Sasano. You try to get out of the cage with that shell, it might not matter. He might just pull you back in.
I'm a bit nervy. I'm not going to lie to you. I like Cowabunga's team fight quite a bit. I am curious to see if this Neath decides to once again, if it is indeed a Neath carry, do you go for that intelligence build and rob yourself of the potential end hands that you would typically get from a traditional ADC? All depends on what ends up being their final pick, because it decides where this Neath's going to go and maybe how she might build.
No, I have to imagine the Neath goes the same build. I think Book of Toth Transcendence has just been kind of pinnacle on Neath thus far. And we saw last game, I don't know that Cyclone Spin was too worried about enhance. He was worried about setting up the team and then finishing off kills. But it's going to be an Anubis for the last pick here. And I'm excited for this. We have not really seen much Anubis, if any at all, for any of the teams. So this is exciting to see Anubis picked up here, the god that likes to, do a lot of healing through itemization in his kit, and then hopefully laser people down.
Yeah, just everyone buckle up, get your tickets for the light show. That's nice and all. It's like a lot of stun, in fact. Amaterasu, Ymir, Anubis. A lot of on-demand CC, which is fantastic. But you got to get up a bit close to do it, at least for 2 of them. Anubis got to make sure those mummifies are on point and that you're positioning as well.
Yeah, I look at one good player, and it's the idea of we have a lot of single target. We can choose to delete someone from the game at any time. So we can make an outnumbered fight. That is an option that they have with this comp. Can they execute it? I don't know. I like to believe that they could. But on the other side for Cowabunga, they have a little bit of everything. They have the AoE, they have the single target, they have the CC, they have the engage. So it's going to be a battle of, can we execute our comps the way we want to?
And one of those things is going to be key. You talked about it earlier. Macro. So in that case, Cowabunga and one good player have got to know that's what we're focused on. Look to the goal to get your money up, not your funny up, and get into game. It's Cowabunga. It's one good player on our entire team. It's Smite Prime Finals.
And like you mentioned the key to the game, it has to be the Loki, dude. I mean, like, it has to be.
It's gotta be.
It's in his name. It's also, like, we have not seen this pick succeed at helping win the team a game. And I know Vaporish Coast is that guy. He can do it. If anybody could, he can. We have to see, can they execute it? Cowabunga looking to get a little bit cheeky, though.
Ymir, run! You don't know that they're all coming for you, buddy. Stop jumping. They're going to be jumping on your corpse in a second. This is the cheeky play of Cowabunga that we expect. It's not just about the micro, about getting these individual kills. It's about sending a message. 5-man invades are certainly something good to get one good player feeling a bit fritzy.
And we kind of have to watch another pick here in this game. It's the opposing jungle. It's Panatom playing the Sasano, which every time we have
Yep.
seen him on this pick has been devastating to the enemy team, to say the least. He has been so well at executing gods. Oh, you're going to stand up? Cool, let me pull you real quick. Oh, you're going to do this? I'm just going to, put you into the ground. Something to watch out for here is how these junglers face off against one another, much like Paul and BennyQ facing off on the Anubis Jingwei.
Oh no, but Loki's coming around the backside, just trying to lure them in. Forces that Aegis already. Paul can eat a bit of damage for that. At the very least, no one dying quite just yet. A few more basics in the back of this Anubis, though, could remind them who this player is and the accolades they bear. No deaths. No invades quite just happening yet, though Cowabunga are starting to make their way through the typical Bacchus shenanigans.
Could we talk about the fact that if this is any other player on Jingwei, I'm pretty sure they're dead. Like,
Yep.
like I don't think there's any chance that they're alive. Either they miss up their relic with the Aegis, they overstay, they don't go far enough into their tower with the Aegis, they get killed by Anubis in some way, shape, or form. But really great play by Paul here. Great use of the relic and the pots there. But now it's aggression in the dual lane, and it's back on Cyclone Spin.
And you know what? This speed buff Bacchus, not only does it provide you that invade, uh-oh, might not be enough though, that shell. Bye, bye, bye. Shell, shell, shell. Doesn't matter if the Odin's on your team. It's still useful. Keeps Aurora alive. Once again, a similar story as to what we saw prior. Now they're going to change targets. Look for this soul. Can't disapparate the easy way. You're going down the hard way instead. PBM and Cyclone get a kill apiece in this dual lane. Makes first blood there for Chaos.
I mean, you're feeling pretty good if you pick up the first blood and then, dabble in another. And now you're getting great pressure here because you're going to be able to go over, pick up a buff. You're going to be able to go get the gold camp. You're shoving a wave under their tower. This is great execution here by one good player because this is going to spiral a little bit of a gold lead in their favor, especially for the dual lane. Now, Paul looking to play a little bit cheeky around the Oracles.
Doesn't really get their arrows to sink into quite too many targets. That's A-okay. Just keep this farm game going. Cowabunga trying to get aggressive. They get smacked right back for it. And now they have to feel what it's like to be on that bottom foot. Panatom might be trying to put their boot on this Amaterasu's neck. Might get pulled back in by that Wind Siphon. Luckily, that Glorious Charge gets him enough space that was on cooldown. Now at 2 minutes. 2 kills so far. Gold lead, though. Not anything too special to speak of. 700. On the side of our friends Chaos. How do we keep this momentum going?
I think you have to keep pressure in this dual lane. You also just need to get Panatom rolling, and that looks like it's going to be happening over in the solo side as Panatom is still there and looking to play aggressive against this Amaterasu. We talked about it earlier in the evening that, hold on a second, Cyclone might be, no, he's fine. Ama is weakest in the early game. If you're going to, keep her behind, now's the time to do it. And so far, Cherry's played pretty well here on the Amaterasu, not giving up much.
So if you just keep that going, that ensures your late game dividends will certainly bear fruit. Also, though, must be said, just as far as the mentals go, the backstory behind all this, PBM, Cherry, they've faced against this team in Smite Prime history before. It didn't quite go their way when they're on team with 5Ms. Now they come back with a new name, a new face, and new players, and new resolve to test against the reigning champs.
Yeah, and so far they're showing up. It's looking good. Aurora getting aggressed upon here, and they might be looking towards a little bit of an invade. PBM stepping up and saying, hey, you want some ice cream?
You know what? I think it's a hot day outside. Aurora might be tempted to take it. Just for a small lick, though, and actually get a turn, tail, and run. Says, I haven't even eaten my actual dinner yet. I don't want to spoil my appetite with dessert. Then it has second thoughts. Understandable, dessert's nice. And now trying to see who will end up getting their just desserts here over this buff. Seems that it might be Aurora in trouble now afterwards. Panatom, though, finds the kill on a Cherry around their buff. Overall, the jungle shenanigans result in 1 kill, but it's in the solo lane.
Yeah, and this is where they need to have that pressure right now. Like, Panatom needs to be able to, keep Cherry behind. That is the key to the victory in solo lane early on here. Bully the Amaterasu. If you can make a play in mid and pick up BennyQ on this Anubis, awesome. But use where you have the advantage for the time being and then turn it elsewhere. And Panatom's going to be able to do this on this Asana. We've seen it time and time again. But if I'm Cowabunga, I'm going to get a little bit worried about Cyclone Spin. He's been playing really, really well the past 2 games. And this could be a scary time.
Starting off with that 1-0 is certainly nice. to their name, and of course Neath very liable to just keep safe even when an Odin begins to rotate. That being said, another callback here, actually thinking about what you mentioned, keeping Cherry down. It's the same strategy Cowabunga employed in the first Smite Prime tournament when they were piloting that Bacchus. I think it was like an 0-6 record.
Yeah.
The Bacchus couldn't quite get it going, so you try to take advantage of where they're weakest, like you mentioned. Try and take advantage of the numbers advantage we got here in the mid. Typhoon charging up, Benny Q goes down. A nice kill there on the Goobus.
Man, I'm writing the playbook for Cowabunga right now. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is a wild time to be alive. Panatom shows up in the dual lane in the mid lane in a 2v2 and says, "Hey, guess what, guys? I can do this really cool thing. Let me pull you real quick," and then boom goes the dynamite. Benny Q gets put down there in the middle lane, but now it's aggression put onto Yarkor, but Yarkor's looked so good on this Soul. 0-1 right now. But that means nothing. We saw a little bit of a slower start for Yarkor earlier, and then it started to pop off. Probably about 10 minutes in the game, so something to watch out for as we move through.
Small Ember can quickly become a big blaze, and the Ice Giant trying to get a big kill here onto a reward, just looking for a wall to leap around. And indeed they do so. Ymir says, even though I like walls, I don't like the ones the map puts on, and they have to retreat back. That's okay. Fury on the mark. Panatom looking to try to pursue. Most members are lurking around. Ice Shard's been charged up. Cyclone Spin brings it down. Gold Fury goes the way of good player. Walled in. This could be troublesome here for our friends on the side of Cowabunga. They're deciding to retreat back. Neither team really wants to test their mettle quite just yet. Goobus just eyes in the back of their head, making sure no one's following. Hey, I see you there. We see Ymir at half health. Here comes the leap from the Bacchus. Left behind. Save your Ice Giant fellow, please. The rocket jump gets a bit more space. Now it's Cyclone in the midst. Could be in trouble in just a second. Forced to blink to back away before they too fall to the ground. Despite that bit of carelessness. Don't back there, buddy. You might get pulled away from your own life. Solo Patrol gets a solo kill, but we're looking here in the duo instead.
No.
Panatom goes in aggressive. Sweeps up Cyclone Spin with the spin of their sword. A beautiful dive. They somehow live.
The man, the myth, the storm. Panatom strikes again. He wasn't able to steal the Gold Fury, but it didn't matter. He gave him that. He got a ton for going in there. He got walls, he got other things, relics, abilities, the whole nine. It felt great. But Panatom then sticks around. Paul makes a rotation in, and they slowly but surely set up one good player to be in a bad position. They thought they might get PBM, but no, he lurks around the corner. He throws it onto him, and he goes, "Hey, I'm out." "No, you're not. I'm going to dash on top of you and make you pay the price." Panatom walks away with a double kill and his life under the tier 2 tower. The tier 1 still up in dual lane. It's absolutely insane.
Now 7 minutes, man. Look how the tides have turned. It's still not by a ton, but 5-2, and that's got to feel rough when you come away with that objective victory. And I don't even know what I could say. You're backing underneath your tier 2 tower. Safe in theory, right? Not with Panatom lurking. Dude's keeping everyone humble. Their team or the opposition.
Dude, he's 4-0-0, and he has Avenging Blade online. I need people to
Gross.
understand, if you were in jungle and you see Avenging Blade on the other team, quit fighting that person in the jungle. It is not for you. You don't want that smoke. It will slow you down. You are not escaping. Okay? It's just not happening. Especially a Sasano, who's just, flashy and dashy as it is. It's something you have to watch out for. Now, there's some other items I like there in the game right now. Triton's Conch is there. We really love to see that. Sot picking up the Bluestone and Mystical Mail. Might be some issues there, but Sot might be getting kept humble at the moment. It kind of does. Oh, boy.
We'll take that. Loki once again visiting the retirement home. Unfortunately, Cherry might be getting down to the grayscale in just a second as well. Panatom takes that kill on the Rampage. Might be getting shut down in a second here. That egg is to cling to life, but those blades bite in deep. Ymir wrapping on the side. A good decoy block. Vaporish Coast delivers the shutdown there to Sasano.
I'm gonna lie to you, if Vaporish Coast doesn't get the block with the decoy there, I am pretty sure Panatom's out. I just feeling really, really good there. But a great gank by Panatom. You lose Sot, he turns around, he picks up a kill. Sadly, not able to keep his own life there. One good player come out a little bit on top there. And the thing to keep in mind is, this has been very back and forth. We've seen a Gold Fury go in favor of one good player. They're only down 900 or so gold, actually 700 gold. They're in a good position here. We haven't seen a team be able to match pace with Cowabunga too often. This is the macro play we wanted to get to see, and we're going to get to see it.
Just thinking at the macro, zooming out here, I'm very curious to see the contributions these solo laners are going to have once they actually start to make those rotations. Just based on where the farm's falling right now, the levels, the XP, the itemization, do we think Ama's going to contribute more, or is she going to go out of the grayscale once again?
Oh, dude, Alma's in such a rough spot. Like, you're in this first 10 minutes, that's your weakest point. We've talked about it time and time again. Slowly but surely, she's going to come online. But at that point, are you relevant is the question. I mean, there's already a deficit in level. Sot is level 11. Cherry's level 9. You have to find a way to set this up. But right now, one good player is doing the best thing they can do. They're pulling Gold Fury, and they're hopefully going to secure it.
Bacchus is on the front lines. That could prove troublesome. Yarkor making the rotation as well. Cyclone takes the second Gold Fury. Ymir going to take another trip down to the fountain, though, courtesy of Paul. Cowabunga in hot pursuit. They've made this work before. We don't care about the objectives. Our mind's on the kills. Vaporish Coast goes down. Goobus to follow it up. It's 3 bodies left where the Gold Fury lies. At least this time, Neath gets away.
So I'm going to call this even. And that's going to be a crazy statement to say because they lost 2. I get it. Panatom then again runs somebody down under the tier 2 tower. He can't be stopped. He's a mad lad. If you are one good player and you need to kill somebody, it needs to be Panatom. Get him out of the fight and everything else goes so much more smoothly for you. But the reason I call this even, and I know it's a hot take, I get it, but the tier 2 buff of Gold Fury is going to give you those enhanced minions. It's going to help you start pushing. It's going to help you a little bit. And that little bit might be enough to help one good player keep the relevancy in macro play, but also be able to get some of this experience back that they need.
If one good player is enough to win the game, why can't one Gold Fury be enough as well? It's all about the little things that contribute to the bigger things. 11 minutes here. 9-4. 2 Gold Furies on their side means that they're only 2,000 gold behind. Doesn't quite feel good when you've been having the objectives on your side, but nonetheless, it's what you got. One good player. Now just got to find a way to make these fights work. It's a lot of scrap. It's a lot of small fights broken into pieces. How do we make a bit more sense of it? Put the puzzle together here for the side of Chaos.
I mean, it really comes down to this pick on Panatom. You have to shut down this Sasano. He is 6-1-1. He is rotating to mid right now, and he is going to cause chaos as soon as this fight breaks out here in a few seconds. We already see Loki getting pushed out a little bit by Aurora, and that's a little bit of a problem. You don't want Vaporish Coast forced out of a fight and having to reposition, but look where Panatom is. He is structuring his fight, waiting, picking up gold, but also just hovering around, waiting for the rest of the team to engage so he can go in and finish the fight.
Trying to see who can finish off this Naga wall. It's been a bit of a bind, but Bacchus says, that's okay. I wanted to be up close and personal anyway. PVM might be the first one to go down, drops the Intoxicate, but Aurora's actually the one taking off instead. But Panatom will grab that Naga buff. Will it matter? Can you actually celebrate your victory if you're taken off here by the Amaterasu? A brilliant silence and a great stun. Cherry wipes away the problem character. And with that, this fight's been opened up. The cage has been dropped. Looking for one last slice on one last good player. It's not going to be enough to finish the Amir. Solo or Troll goes down.
What is happening? The enemy team kept Sot humble? What? This hasn't happened yet. Not only that, we shut down Panatom finally. They bit off more than they can chew, finally, over a Queen Naga buff. And we've talked about it earlier. Queen Naga feels great, especially if you're behind because it allows you to push a little bit. This time, Cowabunga goes in and they go, okay, we can do this. We can get this. It's going to be fine. But one good player turned it around. Cherry now on the board, 2-3-1 on the Amaterasu. This is what we wanted to see. It's past 10 minutes. Ama starting to come online, and now Cherry becomes a little bit more relevant in fights. This might be the swing that they need. It still has a little bit of time to tell as Aurora is bullying people over their speed buffs on Bacchus. You can't let that continue to happen. But the gold lead has been stifled a little bit. It's now at 1.5K, and you're feeling pretty good here if you're one good player as the momentum has shifted just slightly.
I'm hoping that they haven't let the fact that, yes, we're winning fights, but we're still not up ahead, how frustrating, get to them. It doesn't seem like they are. They're doing a good job of playing measured with good pace. Looking at this Pyromancer next, they grab without an issue, and now you can find yourself in a bit of a hard issue. Aurora eats all the CC in the world, but that must have just been the hors d'oeuvre. No damage to follow.
Yeah, I mean, they looked at him, and then he goes, yeah, that's funny. That's cute. Let me walk away real quick. Full health, by the way. Yeah, it's like he's completely fine. But the thing to watch out for is Gold Fury has spawned. We need to keep in mind, who has 2? One good player does. Who has none? Cowabunga, dude. They have to figure out a way. They cannot give up this Gold Fury as well. Obviously,
definitely
they will continue to have a slight gold advantage. But those buffs are gonna start playing a role if you let them go. So Cowabunga, I expect, is gonna do one of two things. They are gonna contest this Gold Fury and take it for themselves, or they go straight to Fire Giant. And that probably works out in their favor a bit better. We'll have to see how that plays out momentarily.
I mean, one of your Sunders is on the solo, who has not really been a grand participant of the defensive fights, which makes it a bit harder. Rocket Jump makes it a bit harder to reach that Ymir as well. Just clutching this tier 1 with dear life, but doesn't seem like it's going to be on its legs for too much longer. It will crumble. Loki trying to find their entrance in a fight, but it's just a bit too difficult with how Cowabunga are grouping to make something happen.
I mean, I love this positioning, though. Look where Cherry is. Cherry's behind the tier 1, just haunting back there. Now, the problem is, Benny Q is under attack. They can't leave him too much by himself. Oh, he takes the spill, but Cherry is there.
That might be a bit too little, a bit too late. You've got the Loki entering in as well, but the shells have been dropped. Bye, bye, bye. Shell, shell, shell. Run, run, run. You're going in a second to hell. Cherry might be the first one to drop. They decide to go back in. The Floppist knocks him in. It's all the lunges, leaps that we've got. The cage is dropped. Amaterasu could be in a bit of trouble, but a wall protects them, just isolates a small corner. A great play by PBM to keep their solo alive.
What an insane play by PDM. Honestly, usually when you see, oh yeah, they have an Odin cage and you hear about Ymir walls, it doesn't go well, okay? Like, if you've been there, let me tell you, I have. And sometimes your Ymir, gets you on the other side of the wall and you're dead. But this is exactly what Cowabunga needed. We talked about it a mere few minutes ago, that they had to get this Gold Fury. They could not continue to let one good player get these Gold Furies and then scale into an Ancient Fury with all the buffs in their favor. They have now taken one for their own. But again, this gold lead isn't insurmountable for one good player. They just slowly but surely have to piece this together as a full 5-man fight.
It's 2 ultimates already dropped, though, and that's not looking the greatest. Panatom going down. That's looking fantastic. Paul has dropped down a low. The wall blocks their escape path. Finish off the kill quick before they come back. PBM takes down the Jingwei, and that means that the rest of one good player can retreat to the woods. They want no further part in this fight because Bacchus could be here to turn the tables. They jump into the back line. That's some good shells there for you. Odin might be experiencing some buyer's remorse as the last slash drops on their head. Another shell, though, might save them. A roar goes down to Benny Q. Followed up on a solo troll. Benny Q will experience payback at Yarkor's hands. They're heating up with a double before they're put down by Cherry. It's a bloodbath here in the mid lane. At the end of the day, though, Chaos wins.
One good player steps up and says, we're going to find out, can we take the 5-man fight? It hasn't happened yet, and it finally did. And they showed what they can do as a full 5-man group there. They go ahead and they take Panatom off the menu immediately. They then get Paul. And I like to believe when Paul dies, it plays Solid Snakes down. It's like, dun, 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 Paul, Paul, Paul. Because, like, he doesn't die. They've killed the unkillable. And now he has taken a spill. This is what one good player needed. They needed the momentum shift. And now they've shown they can do it when it's a full 5-man group. The question is, can they do it again? They got a tier 2 tower. They had to use relics to do so. So, you have to think about that a little bit in this next fight. But overall, a great showing in that gold lead. Non-existent now. It's almost dead even here at 18 minutes.
And the kills are quite literally dead even. 12-12. One good player are fighting back. Naga's giving him a bit more golden pocket, gives him this buff to potentially siege down this Pyro. But it might not be there when they decide to try to arrive to the scene. Ymir watching as Cowabunga begin to slowly whittle it down. They decide to unleash it, recognizing one good player on the marks, ready to rip this one away. Bacchus not quite pleased with that, though. They have this Naga buff. Certainly makes the job easier. A Bacchus trying to take you down definitely doesn't do that. Wall going to be immediately circumvented by that leap. There's the damage to follow. Odin jumping in on top of Cherry, caged away. Dazzling offensive, they turn back in. It might be a bit too much damage than you bargained for. Cherry gets ripped away by Yarkor. Huge shutdown. Benny Q's in trouble. They're followed up. This Soul's going crazy. Immediate double kill to answer that Pyro call. One good player gets smacked.
Well, and they're not there as 5. Cyclone Spin's pushing duo lane, which I understand. You want to be able to push those towers down, get the extra gold, but you had the gold lead. You still do by a little bit. That's going to be non-existent in a second because of this Fire Giant pull. I'm just not so sure that was the move. Cowabunga step up and they say, cool, you got Queen Naga buff, that's great. We're going to go ahead and just run it down at you and there's nothing you can do. We're going to set it all up. The Odin cage was the pinnacle start of that fight, though. You look at PBM, he engaged, he set up everything else, and now look at this. Paul is on the run, and PBM might be next to be taken down.
Just having to run through the jungle, find a bush and hide, buddy. Panatom's coming for you to mow the grass. Bacchus might be there to meet you on the other side. Neath might be able to escape by the skin of their teeth. They do. PBM, satisfied with that, can lay down their life after the Benny Hill music ends. Panatom finishes the job, breaks the stereo, breaks PBM's back.
Yeah, I feel like Panatom was like, yeah, I'm going to, turn drops on this kill real quick because Ancient Fury's up, and this is setting up Cowabunga not only to get that second Gold Fury buff, but Ancient Fury is going to disable all towers and phoenixes. If they get a hold of this, it will be detrimental to One Good Player. So something to watch out for. But look at the grouping here by One Good Player. They have decided to put pressure on this right side of the map and let Ancient Fury go. An interesting choice, but they will hopefully pick up a tier 2 here on the solo side.
They had 2 bombs in pocket as well, so they have sieging tools. Maybe looking for the bird instead as an answer with those in pocket. Could be a way to even the odds, but at this point it's just kind of a race to see who can get towers quicker, and with that Jingwei Soul grouped together, the answer is certainly going to be Cowabunga. One Good Player recognized that. They have to retreat back to the shadows.
Yeah, interesting play. I'm really surprised they decided to let that go. They obviously are thinking about something that I'm just not aware of, as BennyQ is melting Yarkor.
Beautiful laser show. Yarkor could enjoy it. It's the last thing they get to see. Nice takedown there. That's what we wanted to see. That lockdown, that ability to make it a 5v4 with the quickness. Haven't had a chance to really get those individualized ISO plays up until now.
No, and this is what One Good Player does really well. They can pick off a single target quickly. And then these outnumbered fights can work in their favor. But the last fight we saw that was a team fight, BennyQ went into laser mode and everybody was like, hey, cool, jump on the Anubis where all the lights are real quick. Oh, lights out, we're good to go. And that's something you have to be careful of. You can't leave BennyQ to just get dove on this Anubis. So now it's a 5v4. What do they decide to do with that? I don't know if there's much they can do. Ancient Fury has been gotten. It will slow them down so they don't have to worry about those tier 2s being aggressed on. But how do they choose to move from that here on out?
It's a difficult question to answer for sure. But One Good Player is going to try to grab farm before they re-enter with a bit more vigor on their side. Cowabunga, to their credit, grouping up as well. Neither side really feeling confident in their abilities to siege anything down despite those structures being disabled. So the question's just got to be, what's the key on either side? What's the win con to leave it with a deicide that's uncontested?
I'm going to stick with what I said earlier because I think it's still true now. For One Good Player, you kill Panatom, you kill Paul. If those two are gone, not saying the rest of the team can't go crazy. Yarkor's 5-3-2 right now. But Panatom has been a thorn in their side because they cannot track where he is. And when they do know where he is and they deal with him early, it opens up the fight for them so much. On the side of Cowabunga, though, you have options. If BennyQ goes into laser mode, cool, just kill him real quick. He ain't going anywhere. So that's an option. You also have Cyclone Spin. Can you get him killed before he decides to, do some backflips, fire a sniper shot, and take you down? There's different options here. We have to highlight Vapora's Coast, though. 2-1-5 on the Loki is looking pretty good, and the team's in the game. We have not seen this in any of the Loki games, so I do want to highlight that. But again, I think at this point, you just really need to get a really good Odin cage, and that's pretty much what Cowabunga has to set up.
Try to cage the rest of the team around this Pyromancer here. Gonna be pulled and eliminated by Cowabunga. They didn't even have Panatom there. Panatom took a bit of a sabbatical, or at least their internet did. But they're back, ready, roaring to go. They say, hey, the solution is you can't kill me if I DC him in Fountain. That being said, they're willing to risk life and limb as they re-enter the battlefield.
Look, he might not be on the battlefield, but as soon as he gets back, it doesn't matter. They don't know where he is either way. He's still going to dash in from behind and take him out. He does what Loki wants to do, just on a grander scale. So that's something to watch out for. I mean, so far, he has been playing very, very well. Lag or not, DC or not, Panatom has been showing up to these fights and putting in the work. So, Cowabunga looking for a cage. One Good Player looking for some picks. We have to see how these 5v5s end up. But right now, Panatom split pushing the right-hand side. Meanwhile, Vapor's Coast is doing the same thing on the left-hand side. Ancient Fury is spawning soon. I imagine a fight will ensue around there, but that's what we thought last time, and it was given away for free.
We're just looking for structures at this point. It's very tactical, the plays. Chess pieces being moved across the board here. And Panatom being taken out there by a key one. Let's go, Chaos Tower. You've done what one good player had a hard time doing. Already won huge obstacles down for 50 seconds. Thanks, map structures.
Well, I think he probably ended up lagging there and just getting killed because I don't know that there was any minions with him. But, I mean, either way, he's gone for 50 seconds, so if you're Cowabunga, you're probably feeling pretty good about it. Or not pretty good about it, but if you're one good player, you're probably feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, take that, Panatom.
Yeah, take that. Maybe maybe this is Sot's plan to keep him humble. Maybe
Yes.
this is, the tables have turned. At this point,
DDoSing them repeatedly. Panatom's
Yeah, but-
internet going down. Sot pulling the trigger.
really and truly, like, I hate to see this because really what you want to see in comp is the 5v5 happening. You don't want to see someone lag out, not be able to play, and turns into a 5v4. That isn't. It doesn't feel good if you're one good player and that's what you win off of. It doesn't feel good if you're Cowabunga and that's the reason you lose. Because really and truly,
Absolutely.
you want to take on each team at their best. So hopefully this situation gets figured out and Panatom can get back into this game without the lag.
Well, there's still a tier 2 in every single lane, so where can they go? The jungle, very wise. Nothing can kill you there, surely. Just as I say that, hopefully the Harpies don't do some big
don't
rig
know.
damage here. Now 26 minutes.
We saw
15
Queen
to 30.
Naga earlier.
That's true.
saw-
That's a
I
good
got-
point.
I just
She's
need to
got
highlight
two,
that.
She got 2 weapons, bro, and those things are razor sharp. Better watch out. FG could be a razor sharp play here. Heads up for one good player as they look to try to take this one down. Ripping it away, Panatom making their way down. But the rest of one good player have recognized the answering the call. The cage dropped down just to ward them off. But the Shards of Ice are charging. A roar grabs it for Cowabunga. And now they're looking to surf their way to a third Smite Prime victory. Ymir might be going down in just a second here. But in the back line is Loki playing shiftily. Panatom looking a bit worse for wear. Paul goes down. Panatom as well. That's the ones you want. And now they can open up the rest of this fight. Benekyu wipes away Yarkor. And it's an absolute slaughter here. The Ymir's going crazy. Aurora finds Benekyu. And Aurora gets taken out for trade. It's the deicide. Cowabunga get their mellow harshed.
I mean, Benekyu hit him with the pew, 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 pew. The lasers were going crazy there. He gets not 1, 2, 3. He gets a 4. Sadly, he dies. I thought we were going to see a Penta. I really did. But a great turnaround by one good player there. They lose the Fire Giant, but it doesn't even matter. Now they're going to go over here. They're going to pick up a Phoenix. And really and truly, they have the wave with them. They can look to do a little bit more damage here just towards the Titan room. And it looks like they're going to do so.
They might look for the end here. Why not? The next one's only up for 6 more seconds. It's Panatom. Cherry's got to be careful, though. One Typhoon could swiftly bring the winds of change. Shards of Ice have charged. It's already down to a quarter. It seems that one good player is one more than they needed. Cowabunga's been dethroned.
Yeah, Cowabunga takes a fall. Sadly, Panatom's internet did a toll on him there towards later pact of the game. But one good player on the entire team looked real good. And Benekyu on this Anubis kind of sealed the deal there at the Fire Giant. Feeling pretty good firing off the laser beams and picking up a Quadra.
Beautiful work there to Benekyu, man. You can't complain about that. And also, Loki, they won a game. Would you look at that? Beautiful work there to finally give this god some credit.
I mean, I'm excited that we finally see Loki get a win. It was 0-3 until this game. Now it's 1-3. We feel pretty good about that. Vaporish Coast made it look good. Played more utility. 2-1-9. Wasn't worried about stacking up some kills. And that's one of the things that's really interesting to see from a fellow jungler is like, hey, I'm here to set up my team. And yeah, if I get kills, awesome. But if I get some assists, that's okay too. Really good play here by the entirety for one good player. They dethroned the champs, and the champs, I'm sure, will be back next week to run it down as well.
Hopefully with better router speeds, hopefully with some better plays as well. Cowabunga certainly played this one hard and fast. One good player just had the skills to match that same energy. But that being said, that is all we have here for you tonight for Week 3, Smite Prime and Smite 2. I've been D'Lo. joined here by Blaze McBain. Kat was our almighty eye in the sky running them cams, so please make sure to thank her for her work. Jithens, man behind the curtain as always, make sure to thank him as well. We can't do without them. And finally, thank you, loyal, obedient viewer, for your time. We hope you've enjoyed these games just as much as we have. Keep an eye to the sky for more Smite Prime content in the future. And with that, good games and good night.
All the barricades, I wanna know why they hold me back. Need a miracle to break me through, but I won't get that. If I was a real wonder, then I could save me from turning around. Lift me off the ground, and one day I'm free. Yeah, I wanna be a real wonder. Heaven lift me up from under. Wishing I could be somehow stronger now, so I can fight away all the pain inside me. Never be afraid of the fate that finds me. Wishing I could be stronger, so I can be a real wonder.
If you wanna be a wonder, baby, come and show it. Tell me what you feel in your heart and your soul. There's nothing I would take for granted. With me, we'll make it through. Takes two hearts to fix heartbreak. We grew apart, I made a mistake, but I'll try to make it up to you, my darling. Ooh.
I wanna be a real wonder. Heaven lift me up from under. Wishing I could be somehow stronger now,
So I can fight away all the pain inside me. Never be afraid of the fate that finds me.
wish that I could be
Stronger, so I can be a real wonder. So I can fight away all the pain inside me. Never be afraid of the fate that finds me. Wish that I could be stronger, so I can be a real wonder. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust.